right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and welcome to episode 1 of Under Dark Clouds with Variant Roles. I will describe this as a mostly 5th edition real play podcast and live stream, because we're going to try out lots of rules brought in from alternative systems and variant rules from the Dungeon Master's Guide, and experiment and have a lot of fun. None of us are professionals, and we're just here to have fun. So let's go around and introduce our cast. Let's start with you, Max.
Hi, I'm Max. I'll be playing Farnak Stronghold, the half-orc with a vengeance. And I just want to do a shout-out to Samantha Darcy at 65th of Victor for my awesome character portrait. My voice will be destroyed by the end of this, and I'm looking forward to
it. All right, thanks very much. Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt. I play Zyrus, a half-finger, a rogue, second storyman, trapsmith, an all-around great guy. All right, I wanted to give a shout-out to one of the best fantasy portrait artists that I know of, right? Brandon Chang. Brandon's responsible for my Zyrus portrait you see. And also, you can find him on Twitter at Brandon Chang Art. So hit him up if you need a character portrait. And one other vendor I'd like to mention is Cantrip Candles. All right. I make some of the most heavenly candles. All right. Surely set the mood for your game. Please check them out at www.cantripcandles.com.
And we have no sponsors, but if Cantrip Candles or anybody else ever wants to, I put in an order the other day. Yeah.
I love them.
Kyle.
I am Dachi. I am also Kyle. I play the half-orc fighter gunslinger. Weird guy. He's got a lot of different stuff going for him right now. I wanted to give out a shout-out to OG on Fiverr. Poyjeee. Really good characters. He did mine. He also did Rachel's, which I'm not sure if I'm pointing the right way. I don't think I am. Crap. One way or the other.
That way.
And yeah, pretty good artwork.
All right. And Rachel.
Hi, I am Rachel. I play Oyawe, the Dragonborn Bookworm. I don't have any ads for anybody, except for the possible t-shirt company that might, do shirts with us if it takes off. Yay! Because I work for them and I design for them, so. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Excellent. So, and I am your Dungeon Master, Dan. You can find me on Twitter at MadSideEM, tweeting about either this or random D&D stuff and a lot of science. And I am brought to you tonight by beer. This is a local brew called Dark as Keji. It is a black IPA, and we'll see whether or not it matches the blackness of our souls tonight.
The cause and solution to all life's problems.
No. Too bad I can't.
All right. So. All right. So a little bookkeeping and our first non-standard rule, as it were, imported from another system. I'm going to have players go around and make icon rolls. For those not aware, icons come from the game 13th Age. The icons, who we will explain as needed in story and as people are rolling, are important and powerful NPCs in the game world. They and their factions have a lot to do with the bigger world and what is going on. Characters have various relationships with these icons. They're going to roll d6s for those relationships. And if it comes up as a 5 or a 6, it will influence the story. So a little improv there. And we'll also give them some mechanical benefits, although 5s come a benefit with a cost. So let's start with Max. Farnak, what icons are you rolling?
I'm with the Huntsman, a nature-based Feylord. I got a 3, sadly. Wait, I have 2 icon points with him. The next one is a 5. Ooh.
All right, so a 5 for the Huntsman.
Do you want my warlord as well, or are we just going to do it with the one each?
Nope, you're doing all of your icons.
All right. Warlord is a 4.
Okay.
Oh, crap.
All right, so let's go ahead, Zyrus, with your icon rolls.
All right, Zyrus has a negative connotation with the shadow hand. All right, that was a 4, and I got a 3 for the Summer Fey Court. All right.
Okay.
So
Yep, so nothing. All right, Kyle, Daichi's icon rolls.
Daichi is going to be rolling right now. I got 2 positive with Warlord, and also we're going to plug in Wilby's artist.
Oh, he'll do that next game.
Ah, okay. I thought he asked us to do it here. Well, I got a 6 with the Warlord.
All right.
The Warlord being the barbarian leader of the tribes in the north, elected by a council. And then there's a hidden heir that also has a 6.
Okay.
Which I am not sure if that's as important in this one. Actually, yes, it is.
It's gonna come up. All right, Oyawe.
So that is 2.
There, I just lost a dice already.
Yeah,
I guess that's dice jail for it. I'm not reaching down there. I have one. It's by the charger for the TV. I have 1 positive point with the High Priestess, which is like the clerical, spiritual lead.
Yep.
Nothing with her because I got a 4. And then I have 2 conflicted points with the Dragon Empress, which short from being the leader of the Draconian Empire. I don't really know how it's
All right, go ahead and roll those.
nothing.
Okay.
2 and a 4.
Excellent. Okay.
At least ones don't count for anything, right?
That's right. All right, so yes, these will come up in the course of the next several adventures and episodes.
Oh, crap.
All right, so let's just dive in. So we join our intrepid band of adventurers on a road just outside the town of Oak Hill, where a caravan is preparing to set off southwards. The carts and wagons of the caravan are heavily loaded with the lifeblood and wealth of the high marches. Furs trapped in the dangerous wilds or traded with the barbarian fierce tribes from beyond the mountains. Metal ores dug out of the bones of the earth in the rugged hills that dominate this landscape. Timber cut from the thick and gloomy forest, and perhaps most important of all, the wealth of gold, silver, gems, and artifacts recovered from the ancient ruins and haunted tombs that fill this vast and unforgiving wilderness. The wealth and blood of the high marches flows always southwards to the great city-states and kingdoms that ring the distant sheltered sea. But the cart we're interested in stands out among the others in this caravan, high-sided and with a roof of hooped canvas hiding what lays inside. Driven by a small and boyish-looking halfling, a ragtag group of adventurers are escorting this particular wagon, taking a recently recovered magical artifact south to the city of Serat, City of Wonders. It's a long journey, a month or more by land, depending on the weather. Unlike most adventurers, these are leaving the wilderness behind, heading towards civilization and perhaps different and stranger dangers. The day starts out well for travel, the sun burning off the mid-morning fall chill and mists, although thunderclouds can be seen piling dark on the southern horizon. So, you guys are preparing as the caravan master cracks his whip and the caravan starts rolling southwards.
I'm mulling over the notes I left behind, one with the guild hall and one with the innkeeper in town. And just taking point up front on my goat, fully armored.
Dad, she's chilling beside Wilby. Just sitting there, not talking.
All right.
Caravan's not moving that fast. I'm going to actually just kind of walk beside for now.
Yeah, quite a lot of the people are mounted, but there's people on foot as well, stretching their legs and that sort of thing.
I'm going to keep my crossbow kind of close enough that I can reach for it, my little small hand crossbow. So.
All right. Oyawe, what are you doing?
Probably poring over my favorite green dragon scale tome as I'm walking on the other side of the caravan. Actually, probably more towards the back just to keep an eye on it, because I'm assuming we're probably dead last where we're the random weirdos that showed up.
That's up to you. As the caravan master sort of prepares his, the order of the caravan. But you guys are free to sort of choose in the caravan where you want to be. So whether you want to be more in the middle of the pack, at the back, at the front, that's up to you guys.
How many wagons were there on this from the back?
There's like a dozen wagons, various sizes. All of them are at least kind of medium size. There's no real small carts. You'd be one of the biggest wagons.
Okay. We talked about keeping that one near the middle.
And towards the middle we shall go.
Yeah, we need to keep it more towards the middle. We don't want to be on the outside or at the front. Too much standing out.
I'll be probably not in the very front. Like, I'm not going to lead the thing, but I'll be one back from the. I'll be kind of in the middle between our cart and the front. Just sticking to the left side, keeping my eye out. I'm not expecting too much just close to Oak Hill for the first day.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so for sort of expedited travel rules, we do a sort of mashup of things. One of them is some dice rolls and skill checks that will help shape basically what happens on the course of your journey. And for that, there's normally a couple of roles that people can fulfill. Characters can fulfill more than one role, and not all roles need to be filled. Normally, you would have someone who's kind of like the guide, and that would be required. But in this case, you're following, a heavy road south with a caravan, so you don't need a guide in this case. And so the roles you can take is basically, obviously, there's like scout, and that we can use with sort of stealth, so dexterity related checks, perception with wisdom. There's obviously people can hunt, that sort of thing, to provide food. There's keeping watch at night, again, sort of, perception based, typically wisdom. And those are the main roles. So more than one person can do each. What are you guys looking to do as your roles over the course of the journey?
I'm going to take scout. It's going to be one of the things I will do.
Okay.
And of course, watch at night.
I don't mind keeping watch. My perception isn't too bad.
Okay.
I can keep watch.
All right.
I'll go hunting.
Okay.
Probably better than me at it.
I'll keep watch during the day. I'll keep watch during the day and the darker parts of the night.
Okay. Sorry, folks. We do have a small child, and that is okay.
So happy but scared for some reason.
All right. So we'll start with Xyrus. So Xyrus, you're doing the heavy scouting roll. So we're going to base this on your stealthiness. And this is one of the other differences. We use backgrounds as skill proficiencies. So I'm going to get you to make a dex check. And given your role and background as a thief and rogue, you can definitely add your proficiency bonus to that.
All right. That's going to put it up to an 18.
An 18. Okay,
yes.
Great. All right. And Daichi, you're going to undertake some hunting and providing sustenance. So that's going to be a wisdom check. And again, given your background, sort of, living with barbarian tribes and the like, you will have proficiency in that as well.
Doing hunting. 20.
20.
No, non-nat.
Non-natural. Okay. All right.
He's getting really screamy. Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't see.
Okay. Oyawe. All right, so you were keeping watch. So again, this is wisdom-based.
Oh, nice. Doity 20.
Okay.
What? The way I said it?
All sorts of stuff. The baby.
Okay, and Farnak, so you were also keeping watch.
Yes. So, natural 1.
All right. Love it. Got to get that out of the way.
Same way we started the first campaign.
All right. Okay, so you guys set out. The weather stays pretty clear. On this first day, you had dark thunderclouds and that sort of thing
I'll take them.
starting to pile up on the horizon. But you managed to sort of never quite catch up with them. They seem to move in the opposite direction. And that was that. So, the weather does tend to stay quite good through most of your journey. You're traveling mostly through this rugged, broken hill country. It's late fall, or mid-fall, I guess. So the mornings are crisp, the nights are crisp, but the middle of the day is usually quite warm. All right, so one of the other things we like to do in travel is a montage, and players get to add a lot of flavor in this case, and we're going to see randomly who is leading the first encounter. All right, it is Daichi. So, Daichi, what is something interesting that happens on this first leg of your encounter?
Very first thing that comes to mind is while we're traveling randomly, the rock that we are currently bringing along starts to freeze over.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right. So about, you've been traveling close to a work week, so about 5 days or so, headed southwards. You've passed through a number of other towns surrounding Oak Hill. On the way south, headed deeper into civilization, when I think Oyawe is probably the one often riding sort of in the wagon, reading a book, and this artifact. So the wagon, you've got, the wagon sort of set up with this artifact, which is a large metal sphere, sort of banded and ridged in different kinds of metal and covered with a lot of arcane glyphs. And it's about 10 feet in diameter, so it's a pretty large and heavy contraption. And it's currently in the cradle of metal, which was actually forged by Oyawe with her cleric's blessing from the Forge domain. And you have a number of, crates of various, food stuff, fur, just kind of trade goods piled up in the back of the wagon, helping to keep everything sheltered a little bit. And Oyawe is seated sort of in between the two, sprawled out as a dragonborn, book in hand, sort of a magical light floating so that she can read. And about midway through the day, you can just start to feel an increasing amount of cold wafting off of this metal sphere.
Which would probably feel very comfortable being an ice dragonborn.
That's true. You may enjoy it, but you definitely notice it. And it's because it's about midday, the cold is hitting the air sort of in this wagon, which has gotten a little stuffy. So it does feel doubly nice. But like you can feel like the water moisture start to freeze and like condense on the sides of the wagon and like on your scales.
Yeah, I'm going to close my book because there's no way in heck I'm letting my book get ruined. And then I'm going to inspect it without touching it because trafoos, man.
All right, so like you turn and look over, and you can see that some of the arcane glyphs on the sphere have started to radiate with this pale, cold blue light, and frost is starting to like, you know, spider web across the sphere.
I don't know anything about fierce items, but I do know about what I know about Uru, and I do know some stuff about ice and arcana because dragonborn and magic-y stuff. So What sort of check would I make?
All right, so go ahead and make an intelligence check as you're investigating sort of this arcane aura. And I would say, yes, given some of your... so two things. Basically, because you're a scholar, you can have your proficiency bonus. But I'm also going to give you advantage because of some of these recent incidences with other similar artifacts.
Oh, boy. Can't even see it.
60.
Okay, so that's 1. That's even better. It was 1 point better. Thank you. So that's, did you say proficiency as well?
Yes.
Okay, so that is another dirty 20.
All right, so a non-natural 20. So yeah, you're looking, and it does feel disturbingly familiar. And you remember back to a previous incident with an artifact from the Fierce, who are these giant and human descended barbarian clans. And that artifact had similarly radiated either ice or fire when it was in the proximity of particularly powerful Fierce who seem to have some connection to elemental magic.
Do we have a blanket covering the back of the caravan?
You have like big canvas. Yeah, it's totally covered.
Okay.
It basically at this point looks like one of those Western style tally-ho covered wagons.
I'm gonna stick my snout, just my snout, so it looks like a dog's head stuck underneath the blanket. I go, Cyrus, because I know he was off to the side somewhere. And Daichi all the way on the other side. So
Zyrus has been scouting, so he's often out like flanking and roaming around, covering like 3 times as much distance as the rest of you. I'm gonna give a percentage probability that he happens to be back nearby. And Zyrus himself is not nearby.
Then
but Farnak is.
I'll wait like 5 seconds and then start naming off all the other guys' names. Like, come on, seriously. Hello?
Wait, what's going on?
Big sculpture, acting weird.
Let me take a look. I'll go over and just kind of peek under the tarp. So I just see ice, or is it like a frost?
It's not like solid ice. It's more like frost.
This doesn't look good. Last time I had something do this, I ended up with zombie chickens.
Well, I mean, just go talk to Daichi. He's, kind of from that culture. He might know something more about why it's doing this than me. Or
Where
at
is
least,
he?
actually, scratch that. We already had that conversation because I rolled. Last time something like this happened, there was a very hush-hush just to Farnak. There was someone who had elemental properties within distance of it. So we might be being followed right now.
That's very disconcerting. Just save the mic. I'm just going to yell for Dachi.
Yeah, don't blow out all our ears.
I just got to look over. What do you need?
So you hear Daichi, but you're out like actually hunting at the time. But you're sort of coming back into camp. You've got like a brace of rabbits that you caught, and you're headed back in. And so you hear Farnak yelling, Zyrus, go ahead and make a wisdom check with your perception bonus or your proficiency bonus, basically perception.
22.
22. Okay. So you also hear this call of Farnak's sort of deep bellowing voice calling for Daichi.
All right. I'm going to move at all speed that I can back towards the caravan.
All right. So as you're doing so, Zyrus, you do notice in the distance kind of south of you, you can see another what appears to be another caravan. Like you can see a wagon.
Just one wagon or multiple wagons?
You're not 100% sure. It could just be the tail end. There's, dust being kicked up and obscuring it. You've passed a number of other wagons and small caravans over the last couple of days. So it's not like an unusual thing.
Okay. All right. I'm going to still head back towards our caravan, but with that knowledge kind of still tucked in my brain to relate once I figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you guys get back about the same time. Daichi just a little bit earlier than Zyrus. And when you peek into the wagon, you can see what I described to Oyawe. So you can see this frost starting to sheath it. And Oyawe, since you've been close to it over time, you notice that it's getting, like it has been sort of getting stronger.
It's getting worse. So, I mean, short from what happened with Uru, talking specifically to Daichi, I don't...
It means that somebody with some sort of giant blood in them is getting close, and that blood is activating the stone. It looks like an ice giant. Is there anything coming close to us right now?
Am I up to the caravan yet?
Yeah. You basically get there as they're having this conversation.
Okay. Well, I relate to, as soon as I get there, I start, y'all, all right. The only thing I've seen that's different, we have another caravan that is either moving close, that we're moving closer to, or they're moving closer to us. There's this large cloud of dust. This could be it.
That would make a lot of sense. Now, could be aggressive. We didn't exactly take this on good terms.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't think they would have figured out that we had moved it already. Do you?
Oh yeah.
There are magic means of following items.
Yeah, and there were a number of folk that were down there. I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to find this again. But it also could be some of my buddies coming down to say hi. Who knows?
That is
One or
true.
the other.
They weren't all...
I'm going to go scout and see what I can find. I want to find out what this caravan is.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a dexterity check for your sneaking, obviously with your proficiency bonus.
22.
Okay. And go ahead and give me wisdom similarly with your perception or proficiency bonus.
It's okay. There's a lot of P's.
A whopping 4.
A whopping
5.
A whopping 5. Okay. So you are incredibly stealthy as you're making your approach to this wagon. But given like the dust cloud and stuff like that being kicked up, you find that you have to get quite close, closer than you would have liked in order to figure out what's going on. As you draw close, it is a single wagon. It is moving away from you. And it has a cage. Basically, the whole wagon is, iron bars, coming up the sides and closed. There's a number of individuals inside, and it is being escorted by armed individuals, most of whom are on horseback.
Okay. They don't spot me at all, do they?
They haven't spotted you, but you got way closer than you normally would have liked to.
Okay, I'm going to freeze right where I'm at and just kind of try to blend in cover-wise
Okay.
as best I can.
Yeah, you do the Peter Griffin and take the step back into the hedge.
Yep.
And it keeps trundling along, moving
Okay.
away from you, just at the same pace as it was.
Okay, did that look like a prison kind of cages? Because I would have had some idea of what those might have looked like.
Yeah, so it does. Now it's nondescript. You didn't see anything in particular. You didn't get a good look at any of the regalia that the armed escorts were wearing.
Right.
Although their cloaks appeared to be probably either a dark blue or black, but they were also like dusty from the road. So yeah, it could be just about anything. Whether it's like an official, you would know that like official prison transport doesn't really exist, especially
Right.
this far north. People pretty much look after their legal issues kind of locally.
Okay, I'm going to give them about a minute, 2 minutes, and then I'm going to start to try to stealthily follow them for a little while.
Okay, so give me another dexterity check with proficiency for your stealthiness a second time.
8.
8. Okay. So you start trailing after them. Again, you have to get quite close. And as you're watching, you start noticing that a couple of the people kind of on the back are like looking over their shoulders. And you think they have taken notice that somebody is following them.
Okay, I'm going to back off, and I'm going to head back towards our caravan.
And they don't seem to like move to follow you. You know, they can also see kind of that other caravan in behind them. So,
Okay. All right, I'm going to relay what I have already seen about the bars and the people inside of it.
chat is asking about how big the cage is. And now you didn't get a great look at it. So this is a large wagon. It could hold easily, probably at least a dozen people, if not more, but you didn't get a good enough look to tell how many people were actually in it.
Okay. All right.
Is the sun getting noticeably less cold now?
No, it's sort of like evening off as you notice it.
Maybe it's just acting weird.
I mean, your caravan is still moving, right?
It is. We may have moved away from whatever it was that was causing it to kick off.
That's true.
What happens at this point? Have you seen it get worse? Does it get better? You said you were familiar with this.
Yeah, but it was a different artifact that was doing it, and this one we didn't even know did this at all.
If it follows suit like the last one, it's going to get cold the closer we get to somebody, and it will eventually not be cold when we get far enough away.
Well, that sounds okay then.
Logic dictates that the way it would be.
But if it escalates, what will be the result?
I'm more concerned. I'm kind of concerned about this whole prison bar wagon that's in front of us right now. I would like to go talk to our caravan master and see if he knows anything about it, maybe.
Are the caravans on the move?
Dachi, would you like to go with me?
Yeah,
your
caravan's moving. The other caravan is moving.
Before we do that, I want to see what happens. Wilby, can you get us closer to that other one? Just a little bit.
Well, so you're in the middle of a caravan, right?
We're in a caravan.
There's like
Yeah,
a
we won't
dozen
be able to do
wagons,
that.
like you're taking up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no.
You can't
No,
you can't speed up just your wagon. You could ask the caravan master
That works.
if he would speed up the whole wagon.
But that would make the people who are walking on foot have a lot more difficult of a time.
Exactly.
Let's go talk to the caravan master. See where this
All
might
right.
lead.
I'd like to write down, because I don't know if we had a, did we actually bring a map with us or something, or
I thought Farnick had a map.
No.
no?
No, you guys don't. You don't have a map of the whole region or anything.
Okay.
That would be unusual. You would have to buy it, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
big, especially.
Is Jura leading the caravan?
Yeah, Jura's leading the caravan.
Could always ask Jura if we need a map.
Okay.
Sure.
I was just asking because I was short from writing down the location and like landmarks. I was just going to mark it on a map where we felt the heart growing cold, and also saw the slavers the weird caravan and what direction it's going in.
Yeah, so on any sufficiently big map, right? That would just be one point. They're too close to each other for the scale. You know, if it's a large map, you know, points that are only like a mile apart are going to be indistinguishable from one
What town
another.
are we outside of? You said we've been kind of passing by some towns.
Yeah, so you've got a couple of things. Let me just pull this up, my reference.
I'll just write down in my compendium in my notebook then the location and like land close by.
All right, so where's this? There we go. So you guys have got down. You're not quite to the town of Darkwater, which would be one of the sort of major towns on your route south. You've gone a bit further south than most of you have been. Keserick, which is a larger, you know, small city almost that many of you have been to, is kind of east of here. But as far as following the River Taurus goes, this is about as far south as you have gone.
So we'll put this on your notes. You're the one that keeps the notes. But if we know a distance, if we get further from here and nothing resolves, we'll know it might be the caravan.
I'll make sure to keep an eye on it.
This is true. I still want to go talk to that caravan master like Zyrus was talking about.
Yes, sorry. I just wanted to write that down before we did anything else. That's all.
We definitely need to.
Well, and the person to ask about, you know, locations would be the caravan master, right? He travels this route all the time, so he knows more than you guys would about all the geography and where things are.
Does there seem to be any activity from the rest of the people? Like, are they noticing this and getting nervous at all?
Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
And that's 18 total.
They don't seem to be. I mean, everyone seems to be just going kind of about their normal business.
So let's head up see Jura.
All right.
I'll goad up to him.
All right. So yes, Farnak the Paladin riding his giant goat makes his way up, and whoever else is going with him. Jura is in the lead sort of wagon. It's not as much of a cargo wagon as the others. This is one of those like house on wheels kind of thing. He's not carrying cargo. He just kind of organizes and leads everything. He's, you know, a bit richer dressed than the other merchants. He's a little bit more prosperous.
As Zyrus was the one to go and scout ahead, I definitely want him to come along.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going with you anyway, so I'm going to go on foot.
So you guys approach, and Jura kind of like turns his head to like look at you as you guys come up alongside. He kind of mops his brow a little bit with a handkerchief and tucks it away. Well, what can I do for you folks?
Do you have any idea who may be ahead of us?
Who may be ahead of us? I did see a wagon up there kicking up some dust. We gained on it a little bit, but kind of slowed our roll a little bit to keep just a pace of them.
All right. Well, I one of the things I have been doing is scouting, all right, ahead of the caravan and to decide, just to make sure that nothing kind of sneaks up on us or anything like that.
Of course, that's part of your job.
It is. And one
for
of
which
the
I'm not paying you, which I am rightfully grateful.
Well, we are grateful for what you have done for us also. But what I did notice was it seemed like it was some type of transport, maybe like a prison transport or possibly even a slaver.
Oh, my. Well, slavery is highly illegal, so I can't imagine that anyone would be transporting such goods openly on the road like that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They it looked like a very nice armed contingent of soldiers with them.
It could be prisoners of some sort. It is rare for prisoners to be transported to the Southlands, although occasionally up north people take prisoners of war, people captured to be punished for various raids who may be brought south for intelligence purposes.
Cyrus, did you see what they were? Are they thieves? Are they half orcs? Are they human? A mix?
I think we need to go ahead and find out what's in front of us, because I really do not want to wander into something that could possibly end up endangering the rest of us.
So should the four of us head and leave Wilby to guard the caravan?
That may prove the best way to doing this. Let me scout ahead and find out where they're going and how fast they're moving and everything like that before we actually take all of us up there.
I can go back and get the others. The boat can move quite fast. I'll catch up. We really do need to work on a signal.
Okay. I'll meet you back here in approximately 20 minutes or so.
Okay. I will inform them.
Okay.
Be safe.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to head out and see if I can catch up with that other caravan stealthily.
All right.
Not just run out and run.
So give me another dexterity check with your proficiency.
Oh, this is wonderful. Natural 1. I think I tripped over a root.
All right. And your wisdom, so like your perception.
All right. That's going to be an 8.
Okay.
That dice is getting retired right now.
So you head out to catch up, flanking off to the eastern side, sort of along the river track, because the hills are quite kind of broken and rugged. On your west, they're broken and rugged to the east, and you go on sort of the river side, and you start approaching, and again, you're getting closer and closer because the dust has gotten quite heavy. You can't get a good eye on anything, and as you sort of cut back to the road, kind of you like stumble in through the dust, and you like the wagon is practically right there, and a horse like swings across the road right in front of you, just like kind of emerging out of the dust, and one of these armed individuals is sitting there kind of sideways with a crossbow leveled at you. Well, friend.
Whoa,
What
friend.
be you doing sneaking around like this?
I am part of the caravan that is behind you.
Ah, well, your little scouting mission could use some work.
Occasionally, all of us have a little bit of problems with the dust.
Yes, well, when one is not careful, one winds up dead.
True, and I almost did. Nothing like getting run over by a wagon.
Indeed. Now, what can I do for you?
We just saw the dust, and we were curious of what was in front of us. You never can be too careful, especially when you're transporting as many goods and all that we are. And we were just wondering what's going on here and what y'all are doing.
We are just simply more travelers on the road headed south with prisoners.
Where are you heading, if I may ask?
I don't think that I feel like I need to answer that.
Well, friend, we just need to know, because if we are traveling in the same direction, there's always safety in numbers.
I think we will do fine just on our own. We don't like to comport with you caravan guards.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Well, then I will be getting back to my group, and I will hopefully not run into your wagon again.
That's good. I hope not for your sake either.
All right, Dan, while I am talking to him, I'm kind of keeping an eye out and kind of just scanning through and seeing what I can see. So what would I actually see?
So, again, you didn't get a great look, with the dust and sort of everything else. You did notice there is probably about a dozen individuals in the wagon, clad in sort of just rough, furs and just sort of very simple clothing for the most part.
Okay, did they look more like prisoners or slaves?
You didn't get enough of a look to really tell one way or the other.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go back and get the group and tell them what happened, as in the fact that I literally ran into the wagon.
So in the time he's gone, Farnak's I'm going to go back to the others and go,
Zyrus is going to be fine. He's heading off. He's really, really good at being sneaky. So I doubt there's going to be any trouble. We'll be back in about 20 minutes, and then...
Famous last words like, hey, y'all, watch this and hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
So we have nothing to worry about for about 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. That's good, because I don't think any of us actually, we all pretty sure we got disadvantage on all sorts of stealth.
Oyawe, are you staying in the wagon or did you leave the wagon?
No, I'm not leaving it.
Okay.
I'm staying close by.
So about part of the time when Zyrus is gone, it got colder.
And that's when the caravan was stopped, right? Not that I would technically know that, but while he was
you
gone.
you don't know.
No, sorry. Trying to stop doing
information
I'm gonna got colder while Zyrus was gone. Oh boy. I'm keeping a very close eye on it, like not touching it, but like snout, like here's the ball. There's my snout, like looking at it straight like this, like
Yeah, the moisture, like as you exhale and your the warm moisture leaves your nostrils, like it instantly, crackles into bits of ice crystal, condensing on the sphere and kind of building up a little bit of ice and also kind of freezing up around your snout a little bit.
She's gonna play with that and have fun with the ice. Ice dragon.
okay, are you going to point any of this out to the group?
Put it up more? Yeah. Okay, I'll try and put it up more.
Nope, she's totally engrossed.
She's completely
it's an ice rock!
She's just going to look over at Frank and like, don't worry about it. Let her do.
What does it mean? Is this a danger to the caravan?
If it
going to explode?
Barbarians looking to steal this back, it is most definitely a danger. But I don't think this is... We would have seen them by now, I'm guessing. My people don't tend to be the stealthiest at times.
Ow. It's as high as it goes.
So by this point, I would have noticed... Would I have noticed the distance that they had stopped if the dust cloud was settling down? Should I roll for that?
Yeah, go ahead and make a wisdom check.
I need a new prescription.
Yeah, your old eyes are failing you in the dust.
I can barely see Jorah.
Yeah. You eventually see Zyrus emerge back sort of from the dust on the road.
So I take it everything went well?
No, not at all.
You're still alive. That is a good sign.
Well, I was attempting to get closer to the caravan, and I got way too close, as in I ended up talking to the guard after I almost smacked into the back of the wagon itself.
How many wagons are there?
There's one wagon. There apparently is a very large contingency of guards with them, and they were none too happy to see me, actually. So I'm all for going back and seeing if we can sneak around some more.
Because that's worked so well so far.
Because this has got me extremely curious. I'm not real sure what's going on here.
So we're gonna take you came back to get the unstealthiest folk of the group.
I am. Why not?
Are they thieves like we suspect?
Well, I was threatened with a crossbow, so if I'm going to get shot at, I like to have it done with company.
What was in the prison wagon?
It looked like a few individuals. Couldn't tell how many. The dust is really thick, and as I'm saying that, I'm still trying to cough up some of the dust and kind of blowing my nose to get the dirt out of my nose. But it looked like several individuals that are kind of in kind of tattered clothes, and it doesn't look like it's a group that we need to have the check on them. This doesn't seem right. Something's not completely right about this.
Well, if we're heading on the same path, we will eventually cross when they camp for the night, unless we camp early.
Well, we may not. I think they're intentionally trying to stay in front of us. I mentioned something about the fact that maybe they could join our caravan, and they were like, "No, we don't want to do that at all."
Well, if it is prison, though, is a decision, isn't it? We don't need to make enemies this early into our journey. And we put the piece of art at risk by drawing attention to ourselves.
What piece of art?
A heart.
The lovely sculpture you made that is being encased in ice.
Oyawe hasn't listened to a single thing. She's literally still having fun with the ice.
I made it. That's right. I'm a crafter of kinds. And
you're a piece of fierce art, and you are fierce, and we'll stick with that.
It is
maybe not mentioned.
Beautiful runes on a perfect sphere. That's not so perfect.
It is a large bullet.
Yeah, that actually sounds about right. Fierce heart. Draw a rune on
it. What was the ancestry of the guard that confronted you, Cyrus?
Human.
Thank you, voice in my head.
Well, I wanted to let Cyrus know.
It'll work. Well, did anyone look cold? Because that's the only way you're really going to know. Somebody would have to be freezing up on there.
Either one of the members was a powerful fierce or somebody in the wagon. Now that would mean the fierce are being taken prisoner south, or fierce are leading prisoners south. But from what I've experienced in my lifetime, you tend to stick to the north. So the fierce would be the ones in the wagon, by my guess. And if they're prisoners, do we know if they are mad fierce or... I have my prejudices, but I don't wish to see anyone in captivity that does not need to be there.
Well, that's the same I have. I have a very negative effect on this whole imprisonment thing, dealing with what I am.
Well, it could just be, they could actually be regular prisoners. I mean, did you see women, children?
Again, it was hard to tell with the amount of dust.
All right. Dust is clearly the problem. That seems pretty.
I say we try to use it to our advantage.
Yes, I'll just still clink, 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 clink.
He
Send my goat. I can speak to the goat from quite a distance.
He clinks. She clinks. I clink. This isn't a good...
Maybe if y'all clank from the other side, I could get in without being seen.
Actually, you know what? That might not be a bad idea.
Still not listening. Sorry.
There's a distraction.
We go up and say hi to our neighbors and just be like, hey.
Grab one of my javelins and I just kind of tap her on the back of the frills.
What? And she was like building like a tiny ice castle.
Well, she's actually in the wagon, right? So if you guys are outside, like she's like in the wagon. She's got like canvas over her.
I poke through the canvas.
What? I'm building snowflakes. She's got like a mound of ice on her nose.
I'm going to stick my head in there and just try to check on Alway just right now.
You kind of just, like go to the side and you can like lift the canvas up and stick your head up over the sideboards.
What are you doing?
And she turns at you and like snow like falls off of her snout, and she's got almost like a little horn of ice built up just on the very tip.
What are you doing?
2 horns isn't enough.
Where did you get the snow?
It's ice rock.
Yeah, and you can see like more ice is kind of like built up on the surface of the sphere where she was like breathing on it.
Okay. I don't remember this going on. What happened here? Could you explain?
It got colder when he went away. I don't know.
Okay.
Got colder.
Yeah, it got colder when he went away. And then I started making pretty little snowflakes, and I couldn't stop myself.
Okay.
You start poking Zyrus in the thigh, trying to get his attention.
What? I'll pull my head back out from under the canvas. All right. Apparently, we've got a snowstorm going on in the back of the wagon.
Well, that sounds
Does anybody know anything about this?
Well, like I said, when we get closer to the source of whatever is making this rock activate, it'll get colder, as will the person. The person will probably start getting encased in ice himself.
Okay, this could cause a slight problem on the traps that I set.
Their eyes will glow.
I'm trying to think of that.
It could trigger one of them.
Well, it's just making it cold. It's not.
I could just go up to the prison guards and be like, "Hey, I'm a fierce. You got a fierce on there because he's doing some weird stuff." Just see how they react.
Well, I think our best bet is you go see if you can loop around and come from the front of where they're at, like you're riding back towards High Marches, and let me come from behind, and maybe I can get a better look with them being distracted.
That doesn't make too much sense, given that the caravan's behind them. Don't you want to come from the front, where there's not going to be looking?
Well, I'm saying if you come from the front, y'all are going to make enough noise.
Yep, and they'll be looking both ways.
Well, not necessarily. If I can,
there's no way I'm sneaking around. I will just take up the rear.
Yeah. If we come from where they're already watching, they're not going to get too weirded out. But if there are now 2 directions, they're going to get even more paranoid and keep looking both ways.
Okay. Well, all right. Then you guys come from the... all right. Y'all check it out. All right. Y'all go from the back. All right. And I'll come from the front then.
Can you describe the guard you spoke to?
This is about to end. As I'm walking off, I'm kind of muttering to myself, this is not going to end well. I just
that's why
a description of how many guards. What are we facing up there? We're just walking in blind. You've seen it, at least.
Well, that's what I've been trying to do. I've just not been doing as well as I normally do. This freaking dust is causing me so much problems.
Can you describe the human that you spoke to face to face?
Well, I mean, he's a human.
They all look the same.
They all look the same.
Hair, red hair. You have no hair. You should at least recognize hair.
Humans are humans. It doesn't matter.
Make an intelligence check.
I love how everyone except for the very old half-orc was saying humans are humans. They all look the same.
That was going to be a 7.
Yeah, I mean, like, humans, man. Just, he was middle-aged. He wasn't too tall. He wasn't too short. He wasn't fat. He wasn't thin.
He's a human.
You think he had dark hair.
You have a beard.
I was spending too much time trying to talk my way out of not getting shot.
That's fair. Looking down at crossbows.
Yeah, the crossbow bolt looked awful big.
It does. Really big.
I can't tell you anything about the guy, but if you talk to about that crossbow,
I can tell you a lot about that crossbow.
It had
That
a
was a fine weapon.
broad cutting head on it. Like,
Yeah. Looked like it just recently been sharpened.
yeah, definitely a heavy crossbow, well used.
All right, the bolt itself had had several small fletchings on it. Looked like it could fly a pretty good long distance.
And it was aimed dead steady at your throat.
Yeah, he didn't flinch at all with it. It didn't waver or anything. Just kept straight on me the whole time he talked to me. But I have no idea what he looked like.
Farnak puts his helmet on, mask down, cloak shifts to be a Green Company cloak.
Okay.
Dajay looks over at him like, "That's cool. I don't remember you having that."
You showed it off while
I
we were
did?
drinking. While we were drinking.
I was drinking a lot.
That's true. You were drinking a lot.
I was drinking a
You
lot.
and Cyrus both threatened to shoot me when I showed you this. You were drunk on meatballs.
That's true.
I
That's a
wasn't.
pretty common occurrence, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
No, Meepo. It was Dragonfire that was the bad one. It was the Meepo that was the one you guys liked.
Meepos are good. Oh yeah, no, I'll go up with you. Dodge puts on his hat.
Okay, so Zyrus, go ahead and give me another dexterity check with your proficiency bonus.
Would us aiding give him advantage?
God, dang it. How about an 8?
All right.
It's gonna get shot. This is gonna be great.
I'm gonna be
Advantage for our distraction.
the
Okay.
artifact.
I'm slowly going through my collection of 20s right now of ones that are not working.
You want a blowtorch?
Nah. I usually give. I re-bless them later, and hopefully they work again.
All right, so you take the east side this time as opposed to the west. So you go with the Broken Hills, kind of pick away. So you're a bit further since you're trying to circle around. You get sort of partway through, and you do you step on a dried branch, and you hear like a rustle beside you, like kind of in between you and the wagon you're trying to flank. And you see a guy like wheel around and is like scanning the trees. But as he did, he kind of like turned into a branch, which like whipped across his face.
No!
And he kind of like was just then like, shit, fuck, god damn. And he like, bends over and he's like wiping at his eyes. And you can see like he kind of got poked. And you took that opportunity to just kind of like step in through like another couple of trees and like slip by. And you eventually end up on the road, around a bend a bit and a couple of 100 yards ahead of that wagon.
Okay. Dan, are there any large overhanging trees on this part of the road?
Sure. Absolutely. You
You
want a large overhanging tree? There's a large overhanging tree.
Yeah.
There's just one.
I am going to actually climb one of those trees
Okay.
and wait till the caravan comes over.
Okay. So you don't have a lot of time, so you need to scramble up. Go ahead and give me a strength check. And I believe, again, with your background as a criminal and thief, that you are good at climbing. So go ahead and add your
I do
proficiency
actually
bonus.
have an acrobatics also. So, all right, an 8.
All right. So, you're scrambling at it, and you can hear that wagon getting closer. You get like about halfway up. One of the branches like snaps off under your hand. You're hanging, dangling by one arm, sort of about a quarter of the way up the tree. And you can hear that caravan approaching pretty quickly.
Let's see. Let me do a swing and roll. I'm going to swing out away from it, going towards the woods. And when I hit, I'm going to roll.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a dex. Again, with your proficiency, you know how to tumble.
All right, 13.
All right. So you like kind of swing off back towards the side of the road that you were climbing up and land and tumble. Not super gracefully, but, you manage to end up sort of in the bushes.
That's good. That's where I'm going to, after that, I'm just going to kind of freeze and wait till they get closer.
Okay. All right. All right. So yes, you get closer. And if you're going to hide, go ahead and give me another stealth or dexterity with your proficiency bonus.
Okay. Oh, I get this one this time. How about a 20? Not a natural, but 20.
Yeah. All right. So, you sort of melt back into the underbrush, and you can see the caravan approaching. Farnak, Daichi, and you guys are approaching that wagon from the rear.
Yep, I'm just kind of trotting, trying to keep kind of a midpoint, see if they notice us, see if we make them nervous. We don't really look like caravan guards, far from it. So I don't know if we'll be mistaken as any.
Well, I mean, keep in mind that a common work for adventurers and mercenaries like yourselves to do is escort caravans.
I mostly want to see what they're wearing, how, if they're a mixed bag of humanoids. I don't know, suspicious of who we run into on the road.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a wisdom check.
Okay, with my bifocals. Wisdom, 14 on the dice, so it's 17 with my proficiency. No, wait, not my proficiency, with my bonus. So 17.
Okay. So, you keep a midpoint, and sort of through the dust and everything as you're keeping an eye out, you figure there are about a dozen of these individuals, not necessarily including the driver, but you can see about 6 of them are mounted. There's a few people that are occasionally riding on the wagon and then walking. And they all have dark cloaks that you can see from the distance.
Have I ever seen these cloaks before in any other adventuring groups or armies?
No, they're all dark. You can't tell if they're black or just like a dark color.
Okay. And it's kind of... are they wearing helmets? Are they kind of hiding? Is it mixed, like men and women, or is it all just like big burly guys?
No, it does appear to be mixed men and women. They basically do all seem to probably be human, or shall we say human adjacent.
Okay.
After's looking for the prisoners. That's all he's doing.
12 on one wagon. That's a rather dangerous cargo there.
Daichi, you can also give me a wisdom check then.
He's specifically looking for frost. Noticing anything
Okay.
cold. Fuck. 7.
Yeah, you don't notice any frost. You know, given the information you've been given, you can see there's individuals in the wagon, but without getting a lot closer.
Well, I don't really feel like following too long. And kind of steps forward a little bit and then just starts yelling, "Hey, is one of the guys on your truck currently getting frozen?"
Oh my god.
So you're gonna have to yell pretty loud, right? It's not like they're close to you.
I hand him the horn from the orcs and see if he can get their attention with that.
Well, I mean, he can yell loudly.
He's yelling loudly at this point.
Yeah, and sort of as you do, one of the horses kind of in the back kind of like stops a little bit and like clops around, and you can see someone look back at you and kind of turn and consult. Another one of the horses stops, and then they ride back towards you. So two horses are approaching you and Farnak.
See, this is how you get business done.
Pick them up with my one, right?
Your lugs.
And so they come up to within about 100 feet, and sort of like rein up to stop a little bit. Their horses are just kind of shifting back and forth nervously. You can see one of them has a crossbow out and kind of like leveled up over the horse's head, and the other just has his hand kind of on a spear that he's got kind of carrying in a holster in a bit of a socket. And he just yells out and says, "You, caravan guards, what the fuck are you guys doing back there? Mind your own goddamn business."
Unfortunately, this is our sort of business.
What is that? Interfering with people duly transporting prisoners?
Nope, just making sure that I know why everything is getting all fucked up back here. Is somebody on your caravan, for whatever reason, turning to ice?
Not that I have noticed what is going on with your caravan that we should be worried about. What is this you say about everything back there getting all messed up and going cold?
There's a rock that's turning to cold. That's getting
You're
frozen.
transporting magic artifacts?
Nope.
Then
Just
what kind of rock is getting cold?
It's an art. It's an art piece from the Fears. It reacts when there's giant blood around.
That sounds like magic to me.
Really just, Fears art. They put a little bit of magic in it, but, it's not anything major. It's like a pebble. Just freezes over.
Well, nevertheless, I suspect if you are transporting it, it's like any other. Taking your loot, taking it to the south to sell. If you have a buyer, you have a buyer. What give a shit do I have?
You don't. I'm just making sure that there's not some dude that's going to try and steal it because he's turning to ice and wants to know why. Is there someone who is turning to ice?
I have said that I have not seen it, and furthermore, it is none of your business. Our conversation here is done.
Yeah.
If I see any of you following us again and prying into our business, we will not hesitate to kill you. We are duly bonded for the transport of prisoners and not to be interfered with. And then he just wheels away. And the guy with the crossbow sort of sits and keeps it leveled a little bit, making sure you're not following. His horse backs up a couple of steps.
I look over at him like, you don't want to use that on me, buddy.
And so this guy just like goes and like blows you a kiss, and then wheels his horse away and like slaps it, and they take off. Zyrus, the wagon is approaching you.
All right, I'm going to stay hidden until it gets past me. The whole time I'm watching. Right, I'm going to do this more recon. I may end up going after this bunch at night.
So give me
How much of the conversation did I hear with Daichi and them?
0. It's like way too far away.
Okay,
you heard barely. You would have heard like Daichi's call. You probably wouldn't have heard exactly what he said, but you would have heard his voice calling, and that would have been about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead and make a wisdom check. This time with advantage, because you do have like a good line of sight. You're staying still, and it's going right by you.
Okay. All right. With my bone. All right. 17 with proficiency.
So what part of your background gives you, I'm guessing, your proficiency on like observing things?
Observation for casing any type of second story job requires quite a bit of observation for the mission.
Perfect. Excellent.
All right.
Go ahead and
All right.
add your proficiency bonus.
That would make it a 20 then.
A 20. All right. So, yes, this time you get a much closer look. So there is indeed 12 guards and 2 drivers on the wagon. The drivers appear to be armed, but you notice they're not in like sort of as nice gear as everybody else. 6 of the guards are mounted. 6 are not. And they kind of spell off, sometimes walking beside the wagon. Sometimes like there's little running boards sort of on the side, and one of them will just like hop up and sit on it for a bit, or sit on the tail wagon. They do indeed. Their cloaks are a dark midnight blue, and most of them are in either scale armor or chainmail, although 1 or 2 of them are in sort of like lighter leathers. All of them have crossbows. All of them, have sort of assorted other weapons. So they look sort of about half uniformed, which is not unusual for any of the like mercenary guilds or, adventuring parties. It's a very fine line, like yourselves. And you do notice that the clasp on their cloak is gold, and as you like, one of them happened to be pretty close to you. It is shaped like an owl bear.
Interesting.
And so there are about 12 individuals that you can see in the wagon. Like I said, some of them are clad in fur, some of them in sort of ragged, tattered clothing. Some of them are like laying down and have like, furs like kind of just pulled up over them. So you don't get a good look. You just kind of see the top of their head. But almost all of them have the distinctive build of the Thierse. So taller than your average human, sort of between 8 and 9 feet tall. These giant blooded individuals with, quite wide shoulders and very tapered waists. But the other distinctive feature is, of course, their skin tone, which tends to be paler and tend towards shades of grayish green and grayish blue. And their limbs, like arms and legs, are out of proportion to humans. They seem a bit too long. So, like, you look at them and it's just like a little weird, right? Because it's very close. So it's in that uncanny valley. And some of them look more human, some of them look less human, but you know that the Thierse are sort of mixed lineage culture, and so people have differing degrees of these features. And a few of them are quite young, like 15, 16 years old, probably like teenagers, which would be like an adult, but like just barely entered into adulthood. And mixed in terms of gender, so, male and female. Actually, there's probably slightly more women than there are men.
All right. So this doesn't look like it's a prison.
Give me an intelligence check.
16.
You recall that the Thierse are like matriarchal and matrilineal. So, as many men as women are warriors, and women take up more leadership positions than men do.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What the heck?
And then it sort of trundles past, and like a few moments later, 2 horses kind of come by a little bit quicker to like catch up to them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to wait a good 2 minutes until after everybody's passed, and then I'm going to head back towards our caravan.
Okay.
And report what I just saw.
And so you come back, and, the first people you meet is probably Farnak and Daichi sitting in the middle of the road.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, our distraction didn't seem to work very well. What did you get?
Well, I actually noticed that there was 12 guards, and there's 2 drivers. All right, and it appears that the guards are half and half, about mounted and dismounted. And each one of them had a cloak that was midnight blue, and it had a gold clasp but had an owl bear on it. And most of them looked like mostly heavier armor. Looked like some chain, maybe some scale, and a couple of them had leathers. The people in it, all right, apparently are what's causing our art piece to go a little bit crazy.
Oh, so they were covered in ice?
No, they're giants or giant blood.
Oh, well, they'd be covered in ice if they were the reason.
Well,
maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. That's what I think that since what Yahweh said, I think that's probably what was causing it. But let's not talk out in the middle of the road. Let's head back to our wagon. And I really want to get back to that wagon because I'd like to let these people go. Because I don't think they're truly prisoners.
It may not be our business. There are many of them. There are a few of us. We put the rest of the caravan in danger. Maybe biting off more than we can chew.
True.
Here's a question. You said there was a golden owl, right? Why don't we ask a caravan master what the golden owl stands for?
It's an owl bear.
Owl bear?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that was a thing. I'm from the north.
Does this class mean anything to me with my background, with my militia work and anything?
Go ahead and make a intelligence check, and yeah, I think you can add.
No bonus for intelligence. Total of 8.
Total of 8.
What is with 8 tonight?
Yeah, you like scratch your head and you think about it for a bit, but you're not 100% sure. Various mercenary companies use these kind of sigils, and a few that use various creatures, but this particular one you can't place.
I feel I should know this, but I just can't. Mind is clouded. Perhaps we should just camp early and see if getting any distance between us, perhaps even an hour, makes a difference. If you wish to scout, it's at your own risk. I've already had a few run-ins. They recognize us and they have threatened violence against us.
Well, so be it, but this doesn't seem, I'm not too cordial about the whole fact of somebody being imprisoned, especially for something they may not be doing.
We have to approach this smartly. I'm for seeing what reason they have been imprisoned for, at the very least. But they're not forthcoming with their information.
Guards never usually are.
Well, one of them seems to have a good rapport with Dachi.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice fellow.
He's literally just being a jerk. He wasn't even saying anything. A jerk.
In the night would be a better if you were going to go.
In the night, I think we'd all have quite the advantage on these human folk.
Because I could pretend to be a clinking ghost, but I sneak in there.
I just meant that we could see them, they can't see us.
It's true, they are human.
Yeah. Actually, was the guys on the horseback human? Like, clearly human?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. If they're human, we're going to have the advantage, at least, of being able to see them.
But even one elf blood will be enough to blow our cover.
I think I can probably sneak in and let these people out and let them cause havoc on their own.
We need to arm them.
Nah.
Hey.
Well, if they have some powerful ice magic user.
It doesn't mean that they're a magic user. It just means that they have a lot of giant blood in them.
Yes. I don't know the right answer for this. I guess we'll have to wait till night, see what the darkness brings.
How old did you say they were? What they look like?
It looked like a mixture of different ones, more females than males.
Would Dachi assume that this might actually be an actual tribe? Like a whole tribe?
Well, it's probably too small to be a clan. But it could be like a war band. It could be like a, sort of a sub clan, like a tighter knit family group, like extended family.
Got 15 and 16. They were as old as I was when I was going around killing people.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Lovely thing to dwell on.
Well, I mean, the age don't matter to me. You old enough to hold a knife, go for it. Deer sculpture. To an extent, of course. If they're actual prisoners, this could blow up in our face. I want to figure out who the bear owl is exactly.
Probably a good idea, but
I'll break off and head back to Jura.
Yeah,
all right.
Jura's the guy to know.
Well, you guys seem to be about some mighty ruckus. What's going on?
Are you familiar with a particular class for golden owlbear? Our cloaks, soldiers.
On like a mercenary company?
Indeed.
yes.
Well, it might not be the only one, but I do know of a mercenary company called Ormond's Owlbears. Rightly enough, use a golden owlbear as their sigil.
Okay.
I think perhaps blue is color too.
What sort of reputation do they have?
No offense intended, but about the same as any other mercenary group like yourself. They do jobs for pay. Most of those jobs are violent.
Did those? Do they have a very good success rate with any type of jobs that they take?
You mean they're still operating, so I suspect that they must get the job done. Mercenary companies like yourselves tend to either get the job done or end up dead.
True.
Or get the job done, but in such a, no offense intended again, but clusterfuck that they never get hired again.
That's
Rather odd to see he is taken prisoner. I was part of the militia against them for many years, and they fought to the death.
They tend to, unless they don't have a reason to fight.
Or I can say I've been doing this here job for, now over a decade. I trade all over the high marches, and again, no offense intended, but when people get captured, they get captured. I mean, you might want to die in glorious death in battle, but that don't prevent somebody from clubbing you upside the head and putting you in chains.
But the prisoners that suggest this be going to some form of tribunal, though that makes zero sense. If they were combatant, they would be killed in battle.
Well, I think that I'm not sure how your people operate, but it's not like anybody takes prisoners of war and prosecutes them. But if they are people captured in battle, they may be taken for any number of reasons, mostly as some sort of perceived debt that they have incurred.
Who passes judgment upon the fierce?
Well, most of the time, whoever has the most might enforces the law.
They wanted a bit too far south, perhaps. Slavery would not be accepted.
Well, that is a word I would not throw around.
Is there another word for it? Just out of curiosity.
Like prisoner?
Forced labor.
Debtor?
Debtor. There we go.
Prisoners with
Debtor's
jobs.
common down in
Prisoners with jobs.
prisoners with jobs.
People who cannot pay their debts must pay them off somehow.
The fierce don't make debts.
Well, like I said, those with the strength are the ones who write the law.
I like you. That's a good analogy.
Gold always wins, my friend.
That is true. Dachi's going to kind of look over at Farnek, and he's going to go, if these were prisoners of war, a mercenary company would not be bringing them this far south. Not a Thierse. Thierse are just barbarians to these people. These aren't prisoners of war. And all it would take is a couple of Thierse, because we don't use money in our life, to live on a land in the wrong spot and immediately get arrested for this kind of stuff.
It does seem suspicious. If we could peel oil away from the snowball, perhaps you would be able to lend a hand with this. But Zyrus will be our biggest asset here.
That much I agree on. There's something I don't like what this is leading to.
No fan of the Thierse, you know this, but again, I don't like seeing anyone held prisoner for very suspicious circumstances. We may have to investigate.
Yeah.
All right.
If it was, savory. Well, if it was savory, the guys would have at least told us.
Not particularly.
Not really.
Jura's like just looking back and forth, and he goes, "What? Why would you expect someone to tell you what their business is? People in various trades tend to keep to themselves and keep the business to themselves. That's a
thing with you guys?
It's a wild and dangerous world out here.
You guys actually keep your intentions to... Oh, okay.
Well,
not bad.
It depends on who you trust.
But to be fair, most Thierse intention is to smash your face.
That's not entirely true. Somewhat true, depending on who you're talking to. But we always make our intentions clear at the front.
It's been my experience.
You guys are weird. He's going to walk away.
You seem to be trying to outpace us. Just a little bit.
Can I tell if they're getting further ahead of us now that we've kind of pestered them?
Make an intelligence check.
That's natural 20.
They've definitely picked up their pace a little bit, yep.
Okay. I'll head back to investigate the orb.
All right, and with that, we will go to take a quick break. All right, so we are back, everybody. And now if you hear purring on the stream, it is my cat, Ella, who has decided that she wants to chill and hang out.
Good.
Hashtag Tabaxi.
Yes, Ella the Tabaxi. All right, so you guys were planning what to do. It is now nearing the end of the day, and Jura is getting ready to pick a campsite to pull over for the night.
Good. All right. I still want to go up and investigate and see if I can get up closer to that caravan at night once they've stopped.
Okay.
More casing the joint before anything else goes.
All right.
I'm
What
trying to
about
figure out
everybody else.
I'm trying to figure out if my starry plate gives me any kind of advantage in the dark. I have not actually tried it out in the dark.
If I stand very still, I might not be seen.
When you walk, you clink, you clink like the starlight.
If I hold very still, maybe. If I flew, that might be a better... Oh, Yahweh, do you have any magic to make me fly?
Not yet. Not at all. No. Oh.
I don't understand this matters.
I can give you like extra armor class or extra attack. Not attack damage. No, it is attack, isn't it?
It's both.
It's both? Oh, okay. Both. But as much as I love you guys, I don't think you're making a very good decision, and I'm gonna stay with my lovely little icy rock. So
No, you're gonna come with.
No.
They have most likely decided to capture a Thierse, a little group of Thierse who were living on the land that wasn't theirs technically, and because the fierce don't actually use... Oh, yeah. And because the fierce don't actually use money, it's very easy to just go, well, you don't have money, we're going to now take you in. Because we don't fight.
I don't think it's any of our
money.
business, and if we jump
this
into
is
it,
my business.
It might...
We are not known for making intelligent decisions about jumping into matters such as this. It would rather be par for the course, would it not?
I have no idea what that means.
These are seasoned warriors from the look of them. Hard to hit. Dashi, you're not going to want to get close. But your gun will give you away in moments.
Yes.
Shall we, Zyrus, wait 20 minutes on you and hope for good results?
Sounds like a good idea.
Scout, do not engage.
I don't wanna. I don't think this is a good idea.
I agree. But they are going in one way or the other. And it is my charge to protect every guild member that is nearby. And you seem to be having quite a fun time safely snowing it down here. So I'll go with the ones who are putting themselves in danger and get myself killed.
Let me put it this way. Very quietly, just between the group of us. So nobody else can hopefully hear it. We are seriously trying to cart this incredibly, powerful, super dangerous artifact, and you want to leave nobody with it while you go to attack somebody else who could possibly be doing something wrong.
I fully endorse you staying behind to protect it. Wilby would be a little outmatched if the crazed Theus did overtake the wagon.
It wouldn't just be our wagon. They'd attack everybody.
I go to hand the orc war horn to her, and then remember her lips may not be adequate for blowing a war signal.
Decreased proficiency in blowing war horns.
I think a dragonborn probably has. They definitely have lips.
They do have lips, yes.
And
but to be able to wrap them around the tiny straw end of a blowhorn. This is just going to be a running joke.
It is.
Hand it off to Wilby, as he probably has ways to make a loud noise too.
Definitely need more Wilby.
Yeah, Wilby the halfling has been half asleep driving the cart.
Yeah, I'm not
Just still in
leaving.
there.
I'm not leaving him alone.
You
All right.
Cool. I want to make sure that if they're taking advantage of my people, I can't just let that go.
Okay, I seriously think you guys are making the biggest mistake.
Again, I agree.
It'd be a bigger mistake if I didn't.
It would be much more. We'd be much less outnumbered if you were to accompany us. Do you have a blessing to put upon us to give us any advantages?
If I can get the cage open before anybody notices, then we will definitely have the numbers.
If they fight. Just because you open the cage doesn't mean they're going to necessarily fight.
They may be demoralized.
I just want to think I think they need to be let out.
That is the end result. Whether they help us or not, or just become liabilities scrambling around trying to get shelter.
Oh, they won't be liabilities.
Well,
Yes, I do actually have a boon. It just depends on if you want armor or added attack and damage to your weapon. B, who you want it to go to, because I can give a +1 to either of those, but it's only one.
your magic terms are much stranger than mine. I can place a blessing upon people to make them more proficient in battle.
Yeah, I don't think
you have similar magic. I do not understand really the difference between yours and mine.
Oh, hers is more of a blessing of the forge.
Mine comes from a source I wish I knew.
But one thing I want to point out, we just came back. Daichi and I just came back from a very large battle between Fierce.
Ants.
And let me say, not all Fierce are on our side. So who's to say they're not going to automatically turn on you and fight? I'm just going to put that out there.
I don't think they're going to be the mad. Oh, that could very well be the mad.
Who wants my blessing? I'm going to say that. I will stay here.
I would like to be blessed.
Daichi could probably use some advantages.
Okay, probably better because I know that Farnak is a little bit harder to hit. So, do you want armor class or do you want attack and damage?
Armor class.
Okay.
Make me harder to hit, please.
Yep. So you have a +1 to your armor. So I'm just gonna tap him on the shoulder.
+1 armor. This early in the game? Holy crap, guys.
Hey, that's what can make my armor 22.
Yeah, that's true.
So
this is
that makes me a 15.
So this is Blessing of the Forge.
Blessing of the Forge.
Actually, it might only be able to be used at the end of a long rest.
I didn't even read it. It just says once per long rest. It doesn't say.
Well, that's the cooldown on that.
Once you use this feature, it can't be used again until you finish a long rest.
Oh, then yeah, you can use it and then.
Oh, it is. Yeah, okay.
But it can only be used on one thing at a time, right?
Yes. And at the end of a long rest, you touch one non-magical object so technically, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't reset it again. If you're assuming that you already had it on you for the day, then you can't reset it until tomorrow.
Yeah. Actually, my brain probably wouldn't have even put it on me. Would have put it on Wilby from all of the memories of the last adventure where he kept getting hit.
Right.
So Wilby, I'm going to say, is the one who has it right now. So I'm sorry, I can't use it until another long rest is finished. Then I can put it on you. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly fine. I'm more about sneaking about than trying to get into the middle of a combat.
I'd rather not get into combat myself, but Daichi seems to be itching.
I mentioned just to make sure that these are my people getting taken advantage of. We don't abandon our own, even if we don't know.
There are 12 that we will have to get past.
That, honestly, doesn't seem like a lot to me anymore.
How many times did you go down in battle acquiring this thing?
That was a number of times against one individual. We should talk about the day before.
12 doesn't seem like a large number to you.
6. It was 6 times.
We don't talk about that day. We talk about the day before where we took on a group of 20 people and not one of us went down for too long.
You seem to believe in a higher power that seems to set some sort of challenge rating that we follow.
Yes, voice in my head.
Voice in my head. All right.
I'm not sure what the challenge rating is that we are currently about to face.
All right, so you guys have broken camp. People have eaten. You guys are sitting around still debating.
Okay, about what time
the
at
night
night
is advancing.
Good.
Oh, is the rock getting colder? I mean, not colder, the opposite. Now that, because I'm assuming the other guys are going to keep going.
It seemed to get a little bit warmer, and then less cold. And then after a while, it seems to have gone back to normal.
So that caravan is probably long gone by now.
I don't think they pushed that far in front of us, honestly.
You are welcome to go look, but my guess is that while we're here breaking camp, they are double timing to get away from us.
I'm going to kind of put that to the test.
Feel free.
Yep.
If they're gone, they are gone, and I will not pursue it until I see them again, in which case I will most likely figure out what happened and maybe shoot someone.
Try not to get yourself hurt. Had 2 near misses already.
I'm going to let it slide for now. But this still bothers me.
Well, hey, if the rock freezes over again, we know that we're close.
I'm not so concerned about the rock freezing over as in the fact that we actually have people that are in prison that may or may not have done anything.
They're the same thing. When the rock freezes over, it means that we're close to them.
Okay.
The fact that it's no longer frozen and back to the way it was means that they're quite a distance away now.
Okay.
I mean, know the effect radius on this device.
Nope. But if we go by what we saw, which was how far away were they when we broke camp?
Make an intelligence check.
Would Oyawe have any idea about
8
distance radius on it because of dealing with Uru in the last battle?
Go ahead and make a intelligence check.
Okay.
Dachi got a 7.
My intelligence is crap. Oh no! She's just really sad that it's not frozen anymore. She got a 2. I
can't make ice on it anymore.
Yeah, and so you know when you're thinking about it too, like all of the Uru effects on the stone were at sort of when you observe them, they were at a much closer distance. And I mean, you would definitely know that this prison wagon has never been even remotely as close as when you observed effects before. So you have no idea.
Not fit well with me.
And yeah, similarly, Daichi, your sort of estimation, you know, you're not sure how far away it was when you guys broke camp.
Head to Jorah again. Kind of feel bad about it, bugging him every hour or two about information he seems to be kind of nervous about.
Yeah.
Promised him no trouble so early.
What can I do for you there?
Just wondering, what and when is the next town coming upon us?
Oh, well, there's hamlets all over the place, but if you mean major towns, the next one would be Darkwater, about another day or so.
Okay. And this is more of a larger center, not just a little hamlet, but one that, again, the topic is on those prisoners we saw. We're curious, interested, and a bit worried for them.
Darkwater, about same size as Oak Hill.
Okay.
And you guys have passed a few hamlets, like, over the last couple of days. Like, it's not completely, desolate.
They will have to.
I'll head back to Xyrus.
They will have to bed down. Unless they plan on marching all night. Any advantage they have, we may lose any advantage if we gain. We can't wake up early enough tomorrow, and they probably will wake up early to keep this pace ahead of us. We've made them nervous.
Well, probably. So, let's just bed down, and then we'll go from there.
How early shall we get up in the morning if we wish to scout on ahead?
Gonna scout, I would suggest probably near the darker points of the night.
So so you know from the last couple of days that the caravan usually most people get up around dawn. There's a couple people get up a little bit early whose their task is for preparing breakfast and things like that. But that's all pretty quick, and then people get on the road an hour or so past dawn. So they start relatively early.
Tired dragon is tired.
Yeah, I'll bed down until the morning. There seem to be enough people to keep an eye up at night, I'm sure. We're not the only ones just keeping an eye. Are we the only caravan guards to hire homeless?
No.
Okay.
No.
So we could get a sleep if we wanted to.
But you are expected to contribute to some of the general duties.
Yeah. No, I haven't wasted any spells, so yeah, I'm fine staying up. I was thinking of sending my goat on ahead. I can communicate with it for a mile.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have dark vision, so you said there were some clouds on the distance. Have we passed those yet, or is it a starless, moonless night?
No, there's stars out. The moons are up in the sky.
Okay. Would that be enough for a goat that doesn't have dark vision to be able to make his way down the trail?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do that during my shift.
Okay. You send it out, and he goes down the road, and he hits sort of about your 1 mile limit and hasn't spotted anything.
Okay. All right. Turn around, Arcadian. Come back. You've done a good job for the night.
Matt.
I understood that.
He speaks fluent goat.
Telepathic fluent goat.
Goatinese.
Yeah.
And we got to quit goating on all these puns.
You've been waiting. And you...
Yeah, the goat actually can, communicate telepathically with you in
just don't wanna
essentially
make-
like limited common. So
Yeah. You just don't want to make a goat voice, do you?
yeah.
There's bad people ahead.
All I can think of was Robin Williams now.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't see nobody.
Oh, this is going to be fun. So I'll lean over to Zyrus.
If you are thinking of doing anything, they're more than a mile ahead of us. It would be probably pointless to try and go that far tonight.
All right. Well, I say, all right. Are we all bedded down now? I mean,
I just sleep.
Yeah, most people in the caravan are settling down. There's, about 3 or 4 people stay up to, keep watch and on guard duty throughout the night, and you're expected to contribute to that.
Farnack's down to his padding instead of his heavy armor because it's not comfortable to sleep in. So if anything happens in the night, he's considered to be wearing padded, according to what you said.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do a watch so long as someone's in the caravan or watching it instead of her, so.
Dodgy will watch her. It's his art, after all.
Right, snoring.
All right. The night passes uneventfully. So what are your guys' intentions broadly regarding this other? Are you specifically trying? I mean, you could talk to Jura, but like basically the caravan has its routine, right? And you're just traveling with them.
I'm kind of just going to keep my mind on it, but I going to act under a suspicion that we know their destination is going to be. You said Darkwater.
Yes. Well, that's the next sort of town on the route.
Okay.
You could swing. I imagine. Is the caravan going through Darkwater? Is that what?
Yeah. Most of the towns are along the road and river.
Okay.
So Darkwater is one of these places. Quite often your road travels like alongside the river or nearby. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it deviates from it, of course, as it meanders. But they're the two main routes. And Darkwater is a place. There's a bend in the river and this town, and the road passes through it as well.
Well, if the rock reacts when we're going through Breakwater, we know they're there. Otherwise, they're also heading down towards Serat. Or Darkwater. I don't know human names of towns. What are you talking about?
And I mean, south of Darkwater is still like lots of places. Like Darkwater is maybe a third of the way through your journey. It's, more than 30 days to Serat. So,
And my suspicion is once they're dropped off by the mercenaries, they're not going to hang around. They're going to do their business, sell them, put them into labor, and then leave. You may be able to free them easier if there's only a few guards, not an entire band of mercenaries.
This is true. And we'll know when they're close, when the rock freezes over. We can smell it.
I'm still not completely sure that's what we need to be using as our gauge on how close they are.
They would have killed them if they had intended to kill them. They wouldn't put them in a wagon just to drag them to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but they could be selling them as slaves, too.
Exactly, and I find it would be easier to sneak into a slave area and free them there than surrounded by 12 guards when it is 3 of us.
The plan does have merit.
And if they don't stop in the town, then they are going further south and we will eventually come upon them again.
Yep.
True.
We can ask around the towns, see if there are any Thieves that are currently working someplace, or see if the people know it. If the rock reacts as well, cool. We know that we found our guys.
If we could get one of them, I could, I believe, persuade them with a little bit of magic to give some information truthfully.
None of us were there. Never mind.
Yeah, I tried it once. It didn't go over too well.
That doesn't really make me believe in your magic.
All right, so that's your plan.
Yeah, get to the next town, see if there's any sign of the Thieves there.
Okay.
Because Thieves are kind of uncommon, I'm guessing, this far south, so somebody's bound to see something.
On the caravan trip, have we made any stops in these bigger towns and hamlets to restock? Or
There hasn't. This is the first of the bigger towns that you've gone through. There's been a couple of villages and that sort of thing. Occasionally, as they went through a village, there'd be some exchanges of goods with like local farmers and that sort of thing. But the stops were always pretty minimal.
okay. I'll ask Jura about if there's any intention.
Oh yes. Well, we normally stop in Darkwater for won't be a full day, but we'll stop there for a few hours. Pick up some people will be offloading goods. We'll be bringing on some new.
Then I believe that's perfect. We will not pester you until we get there, and hopefully not pester you after.
All right. Well, for experienced adventuring folks such as yourselves, you sure don't know much about the South.
My home was much further north.
We've stayed north for the most part.
And never escorted a caravan by the sounds of it.
No, I've actually never cleared out a rat's nest either. I feel I've missed much of the childhood of an adventurer.
Hmm.
To be fair, I've raided a couple of caravans in my time. I know how to get around it.
Well, sometimes former raiders are the make the best guards.
Exactly. Because I don't know what they'll do.
The line between bandits and mercenary, a thin one.
Very thin.
I will keep that in mind.
All right, then. So you guys continue for another 2 days southwards, generally following the river. The days pass quite uneventfully, no major landmarks. And you start sort of on the second day, and about noon, you roll into the town of Darkwater. It's about the same size as Oak Hill. It's a walled settlement, but, it's like a wooden palisade, some wooden towers, that sort of thing. There's a mill alongside of the river. There's a small keep that's partially made out of stone. And then the upper stories are timber, but it does have like a fairly stout stone tower that has a pennant that is maroon with like a gray falcon on it flying from the tower. and you expect it was, whoever the local lord is. And the caravan sort of rolls through the gates with, there's just sort of militia guarding it, and rolls into the town square. And people sort of, some of the merchants kind of break off a little bit, and you can see them going and start making deals with sort of the local merchants and the local farmers and miners and all that sort of thing. Basically, as people start adding goods onto the caravan, and there's a couple of wagons being loaded up that you believe are, sort of like you guys did. The caravan was coming from the north and picked up a few more wagons as it goes south.
Okay. So how many does it look like we'll have as far as wagons go from here?
So you'll have another 2 added on.
Okay, so no one's fully stopping. Okay.
Yep.
Miners. There are mines here.
Heard a lot about mines. I don't really like the sound of them.
It would be the perfect place to conceal any indentured servants.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah.
Perhaps, Zyrus, you'd be the one to be able to investigate this further.
All right, that sounds like something I would be able to investigate. I'm going to kind of wander around and see if I can see that wagon anywhere around at all.
Okay. You look through town. The obvious places, it's not a huge town, so there's this main square and and this is where all the real trade activity is. You definitely don't see it in the vicinity.
Okay. Did I happen to, when I was walking around, see anything that was been easily palmed that was worth money?
I don't know. Make a wisdom check. Again, with your proficiency bonus.
That's where I'm all the time. We're going to.
How about an 8?
You're looking around. You just, you don't see anything much of value. There's just tools. You see a few copper around, the odd silver piece, but
not worth the effort.
Hashtag hateful eight right now.
It is very true. Holy crap. Is the rock doing anything in the back of the caravan?
It is not.
Okay. Cool.
Oh boy, that happened.
Hashtag hateful eight.
I will go and I guess ask one of the people joining on with us if I'll approach young boy, kind of in his late teens, curly red hair, joining on with one of the caravans.
All right.
Pardon me, boy.
Yeah.
How long have you been in town for?
Oh, well, I grew up here.
So you were here a day or 2 ago.
Well, yes, sir. I was here.
Now, did you happen to see your wagon led by some very well-dressed militiamen and a caged wagon? That would be something many people would find interesting to see.
Oh, yes, sir, with the barbarians.
Yes, did they pass through here, or did they stop?
Well, they passed through. They stopped just a little bit to do some trade, but yeah, they stopped, but then they kept on rolling right through.
Right on with their cargo. Go on or off.
I can't say, sir. I was pretty interested. It's not every day we see barbarians in these parts, and well, those mercenaries, they looked mighty fine in all their weapons and armor, a lot like you. Well, your armor's even fancier, I suppose. But no, I'm not sure if they sold anything. They bought provisions.
Do many wagons with, you say not many barbarians come through here, do any wagons with prisoners pass through?
Sometimes it's not that usual though. Usually just things like your caravan.
Okay. And the mines, I'm curious. Are they mined by workers, local hardworking men and women in the town, or are there indentured servants and the like working there?
Mostly locals, but if people get into hard times or take on too much debt, and can't pay their debts, then sometimes they have to work off their debt in the mines for the merchants and the lords who own it.
And have any barbarians ever been put into the mines for these debts?
Here? No, I can't say so.
Well, thank you. Maybe we'll speak again on this journey. We're heading to Serat. Are you going that far?
I'm going down as far as Nightbridge. I've never been there. Have you been there? I heard that Nightbridge is really fancy.
I've never even been this far south. I'm from quite a bit north.
It's supposed to be quite the wonder. Oh, Serat would be so much fun. I've never been that far south. I mean, I haven't traveled more than a day outside of here.
And this would be quite an interesting journey for you then if you come a little further.
Oh, it really will be. Nightbridge, I've heard, is just spectacular.
So
I've even heard they have theaters there.
Theater?
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than what I'm used to.
We occasionally get, a traveling troupe comes through, a bard or troubadour or two.
Well, we didn't even get any that far north. A lot of stories were told by the elders around the campfire.
That sounds boring.
As I'm getting more interesting stories, I am finding it was rather boring.
Did maybe they not were bards not invented in your time?
Well, we had your war bards, the ones who told stories of great battles, fighting down the fears, smashing them upon the ground.
Well, yeah, those are great stories. I love when those bards come through. The songs they sing.
We would have the largest men in the town dress up as the Thyrse and fight them. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this with Dachi within earshot.
Dachi's over there just like internally screaming. The entire conversation is like, "Argh!"
I've heard way down in the south they have big arenas where they do that kind of thing, stage battles.
I'm intrigued.
And they have prisoners there sometimes, like gladiators.
I cast a very quick glance over at Dachi.
I don't think I'm going to like the South very much.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Perhaps, if you feel a little more adventurous, you might continue on with us.
Oh, well, I would, but it's only because harvest is just finished and Pa can let me go, but I'm going to go down and I'm going to find some work maybe for a little bit in Nightstone, but then I got to come back and help my folks.
Well, if you're ever freed up and wish to become an adventurer, we have the Oak Hill Wayfarers Guild.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you learn quite a few new things.
Like how to use a sword?
How to use a sword, how to climb a house. We even have, well, this one here, he uses guns.
Guns?
Our guild has a undead librarian and a couple of kobolds, too, if you're wishing to meet some of the more interesting folk.
Undead and kobolds?
That actually...
Not everyone is as evil as you seem to think they are.
It just builds a sense of adventure.
Like the fears.
The priest says the dead should stay dead.
This one just looks after books. He's actually... But just don't make him laugh. It's disturbing.
The priest says the dead should stay dead, and it was the cleric who convinced him to come back to the guild.
You gain a much broader perspective of the outside world when you just travel 5 days from home.
And I thought kobolds are just a bunch of sneaking, thieving, folk that'll steal your babies and eat them.
I always call them sacrifice shards.
The only common denominator I see amongst them is that they enjoy digging.
Well,
and they wish to be left alone underground.
Well, and Dachi's going to walk up at this point, because he's been internally screaming this entire time. Go look at the kid, and he's going to be like, not everybody is how they seem, kid. Just because a Thyrse gets labeled as a barbarian doesn't mean that all of them are.
I suppose maybe that's true.
That is true. I'm a fierce, and I have a gun.
And he like looks down. And he's like, I haven't seen a gun before.
You are not holding it.
But can you take it out?
Oh yeah, thought you does.
You're gonna do the whole swirl it and.
No.
He will drop it. He will flat
I'll make a
out
roll
drop
for
it.
that. Roll a natural 1 and kill the kid.
All over again.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and loud.
Really? Can you shoot
Yes. You know what? Why not?
Oh no.
Farnak's going to walk over to Zyrus and kind of try and not be associated with what this is about to do.
I got an apple. You can shoot the apple.
That's kind of what I was thinking about doing, yeah.
Don't roll 8. Don't roll 8. Don't roll 8.
Do you want me to sit it somewhere, or should I throw it?
You know what? If you want to throw it up in the air, I am more than willing to shoot it out.
Oh, okay. He
Actually, it's in the middle of town.
Yeah,
Wait. Don't, not yet. Not yet.
No.
Let's not freak anybody out with random gunfire. Let's make sure that everybody knows.
Oh, okay. Everybody. He gonna
like this kid
shoot,
so much.
and like no one's paying attention to him.
Do you want?
Dodge is going to look around. He's going to be like, hey, everybody. I'm not sure if any of you have actually seen a gun before. I'm about to show off what these lovely contraptions can do. Gather around.
Make a charisma check.
All right.
My cheeks.
Do I get
hurt.
proficiency because Dachi likes showing off?
Can I assist?
By this time, I've probably wandered back over from my wandering around and noticing this spectacle happening.
I would say that your love of showing off doesn't give you proficiency in gaining people's attention, but Farnak is like assisting you, so you can have advantage.
I'm going to walk over and grab the apple, and I'm going to hold it above my head in my palm.
Oh,
Okay.
the kid's not going to
And
get.
I'm going to walk 100 feet back.
Hey, mister, he said I could throw the apple.
I got a 15. And Dachi's going to look over and be like, don't worry. I'm going to shoot the apple out of his hand.
But I wanted
And-
to throw the apple.
Shoot the hand out of the apple.
Well, can I hold the apple then? If you want to shoot it, I'll hold it.
Dodgy, you can
You
shoot.
can throw the next apple.
I've seen you shoot 2 bullets almost at the same time. Try both.
That sounds really cool.
Wait.
I can get another apple, and he like scurries over to a vendor and he like jingles out some copper and like buys an apple.
First kill of the game.
All right, so
I kind of want to roll a natural one at me. That's going to be hilarious.
Farnak is holding his, and the kid's like, "Okay, you just tell me when to throw it."
I rolled a 15. Is there anybody actually gathering around this?
Yeah. People have gathered around a little bit, or at least like stopped what they're doing and are like paying.
They're waiting on you to shoot somebody's hand off.
They're
is
at least
what
paying
makes
half
them
attention to you.
Do that. All right, so I'm going to take. I will take the 2 shots. I'll yell at the kid and be like, "All right, go ahead and throw it. I'll shoot the apple out of Farnak's hand first, and then shoot the apple."
Okay, so yeah, so the kid like does the like he leans way back and like arcs it up, and like high. He gets a super good throw.
And then I take my 2 shots.
All right.
I get just basic attack rolls.
Yeah, regular attack rolls.
All right. So we have a 17 and then a 19.
All right, so yeah, you like, you basically wait to pull it and then like quick draw your gun out, and it's like poof, poof, and there's just this resounding, echoing crash and like smoke, ejecting from the back of your pistol. As the one apple just turns into paste out of Farnak's hand. And then one in the air as it's just starting to arc back down, blows into pieces. And like people
Farnak
start
is on the
clapping.
ground holding his hand, screaming. Screaming.
Oh, and then so like as they're clapping, and then people start looking concerned and like, oh my gosh.
He gets up.
He looks right over at him and just goes, "No, I didn't shoot his hand."
Farnak gets up, holds his hand up.
The kid's just like, that's not very funny.
That's hilarious.
Actually, Oyawa is gonna go walk over to him and smack him upside the head.
Elder abuse. That's elder abuse.
Smack Farnak upside the head. Actually, she's gonna smack both of them upside the head.
Just a little bit
Fun
fun.
fact, that was a natural 8 and a natural 10.
Another 8.
High attack roll
Yeah, dude.
on his gun.
All right. So as you guys finish up, an older man sort of hobbles up towards Farnak and Daichi and just says, "You were asking about the mercenaries who passed through here yesterday."
Indeed.
Yes, they did have a bunch of prisoners. They didn't sell any here, but they did say they were taking them to the merchant who had hired them further south. I believe they were going to meet up with someone in Knightbridge.
Hired to capture thieves.
I'm not sure exactly the details. I only overheard a little bit, and only you speaking to the child here ringed my memory at all.
Thank you for this information.
I believe that the merchant they were talking about was named Argon.
Is that with an R?
Argon?
Argon.
There you go.
Argon.
Arr. Like a pirate.
He's
So
a
they
pirate,
are gone to Argon.
Switch around a couple letters and it's Calgon. Calgon, take me away.
So these guys were hired to go specifically capture Thierce, is what you were saying?
It doesn't sound much
No,
different.
I'm not sure. I just know that they worked for this merchant.
Ah, okay. That's a little bit less unsavory.
A merchant hiring mercenaries to bring theirs back alive.
Well, most merchants, especially more prosperous runs, keep people such as yourself on retainer, as it were, to protect their interests. It is not unusual, well, not usual, but it is not unknown for a merchant whose goods have been particularly attacked or raided in the north to seek to capture those who were doing the raiding.
This would all look the same to someone like that. They could still be innocent.
It seems like we're going to have to go talk to this mercenary guy to get the loot. At least we have a destination.
Well, I say we head on towards the Might Bridge.
Oh, we got to wait for the caravan, but yeah, definitely go there.
We're
Yeah,
in
that's
that
all.
direction anyway, so.
Gonna pass off a gold to the little to the kid. Well, the young man.
And she's going to give him a bullet. Just a bullet, and be like, oh, he's going to give him a bullet, and then he's going to give him the book that he used to make his own gun. And goes, when you can make your own gun, use that bullet.
Great. Arming innocent children.
I gave him a book. How to make a gun.
Give a
Not
man a gun, he'll kill for a day. Teach a man to make a gun.
Kill forever.
He'll murder forever.
And villain, when we're level 20, we're going to fight a gunslinging lich.
You said that the merchant was named Argon, or the head of the mercenary group?
Merchant.
The merchant. You had already knew that this mercenary group is called Ormond's Owlbears, so you assume that their captain would be Ormond.
there. Now that I've successfully handed a firearm to a child, let's move.
Yeah, so the kid like looks at the bullet and he's like looking at the book, and you can see that he recognizes some value in this, but he also pretty quickly is like looking at the gold coin, and he's like, I haven't ever had a gold coin.
Really? Well,
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. Not every day we get to put on a show for a young lad such as yourself.
This is like many weeks' wages.
When you become an adventurer, you get that in handfuls.
That I have heard that.
We are bad influences.
Yeah, they spend it like that on making spell scrolls.
Can't make a gun to go kill some people for money.
Oh,
I would suggest using it more on deer and rabbits and other game. It's much more...
That seems... how much do bullets cost? I mean, I suppose if you're an adventurer, that's like nothing. But, I mean, it seems to me that, trapping things like rabbits and killing deer with bow and arrow is much more economical.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Economical is not always fun.
Guns are not meant for hunting. They are meant for killing.
That seems more correct. I'm gonna study this on when I'm not busy on the way to Nightbridge. I guess we're all going to Nightbridge.
Apparently,
We are rather eventful so far. You may have plenty of time to read. Oyawe always does.
I'm just sad that I'm not going to get to Nightbridge before the conjunction.
Conjunction.
Yeah.
Oh. Now I'm interested. What is the conjunction?
Make a intelligence check.
can I do so as well?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think all of us should.
Just based on like anything that could be a bedtime story for kids that I might have told or heard of.
Well, I definitely don't know it.
Dachi does
I
not
got
know.
4.
Dachi's a Thieves. He doesn't care about your culture.
I have a grand total of 14.
Okay.
10.
All right. Farnak, so, you've talked to lots of people in your travels. You've been, around people from many different cultures. It's not that it's a cultural thing, although people may call it different things in different parts. But a conjunction, or the conjunction.
The great conjunction.
Yeah, now I've got that going through my head.
It's when the 3 moons align properly with the world. And so when the 3 moons kind of line up in such a way that they overlap one another and are full, so they're all in their full phase and sort of eclipsing each other. And of course the 3 moons are arranged so like the smallest is closest to the world and the biggest is the furthest away. So they only partially kind of obscure each other. And so you get this kind of 3-ringed effect. And there's various superstitions and things like that tied to the conjunction.
So what makes the conjunction different between here and there?
Oh, well, it's always special. It only happens once a year. But they say in Nightbridge during the conjunction that the Nightbridge turns into a pathway to the realm of shadow.
Oh,
I don't know if that's true or not. But that's the story, they say.
That is
That's
fascinating.
You Southern folk have some weird tales, man.
I don't think it sounds weird. It sounds exciting.
Realm of Shadows. That sounds bad.
But the conjunction is tonight, and it's 6 days to Nightbridge.
Ooh, okay.
Means at least the caravan's not going to be there. Well, at least you'll be able to celebrate your weird holiday on the road.
How often does this conjunction happen?
Once a year.
Once a year. Oh, well. What happened last year? Anything eventful that made its news up here?
Oh, well, they say that Bessie the cow, that's why she went crazy, and she went on a big rampage through the town. She knocked a bunch of stuff over, broke the well, too. The mayor was awful mad about that one.
Oh, wait a moment.
Second strangest cow story I've heard in my life.
See, I should have kept mending. It would have been
I've seen a cow with 2 faces.
A cow with two faces.
Actually, you could.
There was demonic energy in the land, and it corrupted cow.
Demons.
Demons. They're not as fun as they sound.
Whoa. You must be real powerful.
We had a lot of assistance from even more powerful members. Have you heard of the Green Company?
Yeah. They're
I've spent
legendary.
quite a bit of time among them. I still have my cloak at the Green Company. I don't know if I'm technically, it's like wearing a police officer's uniform when you're a police officer, but I wear it anyway.
I'm special.
Don't worry, you can just quickly change it if anybody asks questions. Like, it wasn't. What are you talking about? This was something else. They're crazy.
It is crazy. So.
Actually, I'm gonna kind of poke my silver snout in and say, "What is this about? A well broken? Like, are all the pieces still there and everything?"
Well, that was last year. It's been fixed.
Darn. I was hoping to work some magic.
Darn.
Darn, I sure wanted to
Looking to always fix stuff.
Darn, this town hasn't been without water for a year.
That's what I was thinking.
That totally is horrible.
Well, just because the well is broken doesn't mean they still can't access water. I just assumed it was like, you know how some wells are like the stone thing that goes up around. Well, I just thought the wall was broken or something. That's all.
And some say Bessie is still kicking wells over to this day.
Oh no, they had to kill her. But then the priest blessed her, and we had this big feast. The whole town.
You folk are the weirdest folk I have ever met in my life.
She's gonna smack Daichi upside the head.
What?
Hey, out
Eating?
the door. Be alone.
Hey, I mean, you have tusks and a gun. That's pretty
What's wrong
strange.
with eating a possessed cow? I mean,
Yep,
had any flavor?
I'm a dragon who breathes ice.
that's true.
Yeah.
I think the most normal member of our group would be Zyrus.
Yep. and will be. Halflings are relatively common.
Oh yeah, on the road. Yes. Is our caravan mostly human, or have any other?
Yes.
halflings on it? Okay.
In general, you can assume like 90% of the people around you, at the very least, are human.
Is there if we still have time left before the caravan leaves, a temple or...
There's a small like shrine temple. Yep.
Okay. And I was also going to ask about a bookstore or a general store or something.
There's a general store.
Okay. I'd like to go to the temple quick, just for a brief second.
Okay.
Because I know, like, literally, I think I have 0 potions. My only healing, I think I still have 1 healing spell scroll. I don't think I used my last one last time.
You're looking for potions.
Yeah, I don't have any potions. And
I'd intended Gray to put 2 greater healing potions in the guild vault.
yeah, I just didn't. Well, yeah, but that's the guild vault, and we didn't dictate that we'd taken any.
Nope.
Yeah.
You don't have them.
So
Yeah, that's the guild that we are not going to take from.
Farnak, as usual, goes in without potions.
I got this vial right here. It's a potion. It's got a clear liquid. I think it's called water.
So yeah, there's a small temple in the town. Simple wooden construction.
Oh, I do.
yes, we do.
You're at the temple.
Yes, sorry. I'm going to ask them if they happen to have any potions for sale.
So you go in. There's a couple of sort of young women tending to the shrine, and like a middle-aged woman who's like puttering around at one of the altars. And she turns around. She's got just sort of simple robes on and a holy symbol of Malia, which is relatively common for the saints, in your towns, that kind of like life and fertility and agriculture tends to be what most people lean towards for the prominent saints. And the woman turns around and just kind of like dusts her hands off on her robes and looks and sees, I'm assuming you've got your holy symbol out and you're armored and all of that stuff. So she kind of like makes like a little bit of a curtsy and says, yes, honored one, how may I be of assistance?
Well, sister, I was wondering if there might be any potions or spell scrolls for my group. We're journeying, and I unfortunately did not think to prepare before we left.
We occasionally have a small stock. We're not terribly blessed in that regard, but we do have some. I do have some skill. We have a few healing potions around that, yes, I would be happy to provide you.
I do not want to take them all from you, and of course I would love to in any way reimburse you for that, because I know they are no cheap feet. They are.
Well, I do have, and she like kind of like rummages around. I do have 3 available that we have on hand.
Okay. And those are just normal healing potions?
Yes.
Okay. I would rather not take the majority from you. I will take just one. At whatever cost you need.
It's even if we usually just try and always have one on hand for emergencies, and of course when we sell any, that helps us prepare new ones. So it would only be a few days to restock.
Okay,
so
well
if
then
you wanted to purchase 2.
All right, well if that is okay with you, then I shall do so. I would, because I only have so many spells to heal my idiotic brethren.
Well, your abilities far outstrip our humble abilities here. But yes, so those cost us 50 gold each.
Mm-hmm. I will gladly hand over that amount. And I know, and just curious, she doesn't happen to have any spell scrolls, does she?
No.
Okay. All right, then I'll just buy the 2 potions. That way they're not flat out without any. And I guess I'll ask her if there's been anything. Never mind. No, I'm good. I'm gonna maybe say a little prayer to Kimmer-June. I think I remembered his name properly.
Kimmer-Juke?
Kimmer-Juke.
Kimmer-Juke? I thought it had 2 N's at the end.
Oh, yeah, it's N. Sorry, Kimmer-June.
Okay. I should write that down somewhere so I don't forget, the name of my deity.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
A little blasphemous.
It's a little blasphemous to get my deity. Yeah.
The Saint Kimmer-June.
Kim something, help me out.
Kim something, help me out.
Dogs?
I'll just, After that, I'll probably call it because I can't think of anything else the general store might have, so I'll just go back to the others and
Okay.
call it that.
All right. So Jura is starting to get the caravan back ready to hit the road again.
Okay, so 2 potions of healing. I'm going to let the rest of the party know I was able to get 2.
I'd be fine without it. When I can't hear anybody else, I just make my hand glow and touch myself.
Whether or not Dragonborn are tone deaf, she is covered her ears.
Orcs are born
We can definitely tell the half orcs are kind of off the
There's a reason there aren't many oak-blooded bards out there. But we try. We try. We're better at battle calls.
I'm sure given enough time I could sing a good song or two. Nope.
Yeah, let's just go.
All right. So the caravan gets back on the road and rolls through. And indeed, as you camp for this night, you are witness to the conjunction. But, you've seen it before. You just didn't know what people called it necessarily. You have various words for it in your own languages and among your own people. And so it is, you see it about once a year, although it is a particularly brilliant display. So it looks particularly rich this year. Sometimes, it's dim or faint and not always the best visibility depending on where you are. And your travels continue for another 6 days as you continue further south. You're winding through fairly similar terrain, broken, rugged hills, thick forests lining the road. The river is getting sort of larger, seemingly with every day as you pass south, wider. You've got, more tributaries coming into it, and it is becoming a fairly mighty flow. And on the horizon, on your 6th day, you can see walls rising above the road for probably the largest town that most of you have come through, at least recently. Anyone who's come from further south has seen larger cities. This is probably, it's not really a small city, it's still a town, but it's quite large. But what really stands out is that sort of massed crouching above the river is an immense bridge. The river here is quite wide, and the bridge arcs up very high and goes out really wide to either side. It essentially actually arcs above the town. The road itself that you're on goes beneath it, as the ends of the bridge are like anchored in the sort of like broken, rugged hills and cliffs that are pushed back kind of above or past the floodplain. And it is made of this sort of dark, smoky, translucent material, and it is very square. Everything about it is like really rigid, hard lines.
Drawing this crap. Yeah, it's like,
and I mean, like, it doesn't match the town underneath it at all. Like the town, in terms of buildings that you can see as you approach the walls, very typical what you would expect to see. The walls of the town are, more of it is stone, parts of it are still wood. But a lot of the towers and the gatehouse have been replaced with stone construction, just as the town has gotten bigger and more prosperous. There is a small keep that is set up overlooking the town. So it's on the hill, kind of on the other side of the road from the main part of the town, kind of near the bridge, actually, like one of the ends of the bridge, and overlooking the town. And you can see like the peaks of some of the buildings rising above the walls. There's a few, 2-story houses, and some other buildings. You can see like sort of the peak of a temple. Definitely looks more prosperous and larger.
that is cool. Definitely recording this artwork into my notebook.
People normally pass over, just more of a display piece.
Well, so like you're eyeing it, and like as you get closer, you can see that some of the road has been made so it goes like off to the west, and presumably curls up and around the keep, and maybe goes to the bridge. It's almost like, imagine a really, really big overpass. but one that you can fit a town underneath.
Yeah. Does it look like it's functional, like it's supposed to lead you somewhere, or is it?
Well, like I said, you can see this bit of road sort of
Yeah.
ramping up and around.
And can we see from there where it goes to? Like, is it? So it goes up and around over the bridge, and the other end of the bridge ends in.
Well, so I mean, like the river's quite wide, right? And so when you look over the other side, you see sort of it where it comes back down and connects is on these broken hills, as opposed to the like flat plain of the riverside.
Gotcha.
Hey, Dan, how old does this bridge look anyway?
Well, make an intelligence check.
Okay. 15.
So you don't know how old it looks. It doesn't look... I mean, it looks like it could have been built yesterday in terms of the quality of the material that the bridge itself is made out of.
But it doesn't look weathered or anything like that?
Doesn't look weathered at all. But you have heard stories of the Night Bridge, and it has been here longer than the town. The town grew up around it. You know, as far as people know, this was actually built like during the Asunian Empire.
Okay.
So not super near the end of it. It's thought by people that it's at least like 1,500 years old, if not older.
Too bad we don't have a magic user of some type.
Huh?
I was wondering if the bridge was magical.
I might be able to tell, plus being cleric of the forge might help me in the way of, like, maybe the material that's used and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, so what are you doing? Are you just doing like a knowledge check?
I want to inspect it and try and figure out what it is and if it's actually... Would my identify spell help out on this?
So maybe, you don't know if it's magical. Detect magic would show if has magical properties at all.
I have that too.
And then identify would possibly give you additional information.
Okay, so can I do detect magic as even if I fall behind the caravan? I don't care because I can just catch up. Can I just?
Well, you're just like riding in the wagon, so I mean, you can cast it while you're moving.
Yeah. Can I do it as well? I wanted to do it more as a ritual, so as not to waste a spell slot.
Yeah, I think you could do it while you're riding in the wagon. That's fine.
Oh, there goes a dice.
So detect magic, you're gonna have to time it and you're probably actually gonna have to leave where people are and go up because it's only 60 feet, right?
30
foot range. So yeah, so you're gonna have to go right up to the bridge. The caravan's gonna pass underneath it, but even if you look straight up, 30 feet would be out of range. Like the bridge would be more than 30 feet away above you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but you could just like leave the road while they go into town and like go up to, the nearest place if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'd love to just I'd love to just inspect it and figure out like what type of if it is magic and and what type of material it's made of as well.
Okay. So you go up, and so you follow this sort of side road that curls up and around the hill, and walk by the keep that's kind of squatting beside it. You can see cart tracks, so it appears carts come up here. And the road does indeed curl around and meet the bridge. And as you look, sort of the surface of the bridge where carts would go over is made of the exact same material. You can see rutted tracks on the road that then go onto it, and like some dirt has gotten like tracked onto the bridge, but pretty quickly the tracks fade and the material's just glistening clean. And as you go
self-cleaning bridge.
Yeah, or just whether it's like the dirt, particularly sticks and gets off the wagon wheels or what, you're not sure. And you get up close to the bridge, take 10 minutes to cast Detect Magic as a ritual. And indeed, the bridge glows with predominantly transmutation magic.
Ooh.
And then you can cast Identify.
Yeah. Can I also then try Identify as a ritual spell and figure out what's going on?
Sure. So, like, usually this is more for, like, magic objects. And this is, like, quite a large construction. But I would say that you do get more information about it. And really what you're reading is that the bridge was magically constructed. Right? So, like, basically how it's formed together was done via magic, as opposed to mundane construction methods.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and the material has properties that make it extremely resistant to being, like, to weathering and that sort of thing. Kind of familiar to you, as it would be very similar to some of the magics you would use when you construct items magically or imbue them with magical properties.
All right, that's really cool.
Dachi's over there with them and is like, look at your potential.
But you do, like, reach really deep in with this Identify spell, you do detect that there is a trigger that will activate a like conjuration magic.
Like the conjunction.
So it actually seems like from the Identify spell, you know that yes, it can only be activated during the conjunction. But it also takes a ritual to unlock it.
Oh, so someone hasn't unlocked. Can I, do I attune to the bridge, see if it shrinks?
Bridge is not attunable.
Do I know what would happen with the conjuration, or would I probably have to check around in town and see if anyone has any idea what's going on?
So you would know that basically it opens some kind of portal.
Oh shit! The bridge is the way.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Shadow World.
I'm gonna leave that alone and save it for later if need be.
We ever need to go to the Shadow World, we just figured out how to do that.
We can go. We can go to the bridge.
That's episode 4.
Don't get ahead of ourselves now.
It's only episode 1.
Yeah, you learn how to use them. So yes, the details of said ritual with the Identify spell. I'm gonna say, it's a little different. So you have an idea, but you don't have necessarily the ritual.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm literally just going to research this because it's like knowledge. Ooh, super interested. Oh my gosh, must find out.
Fall into a cultist hand, and they're going to summon the Shadow World to ours and kill everyone.
She doesn't need to write it down. She can memorize it. She can write it down, memorize it, and then burn it.
And it definitely does open to the Shadow Realm.
Oh crap!
Awesome.
Is this how we're gonna get the Eridar into the world?
That's World of Warcraft, Kyle.
I thought the Eridar was in here.
Yeah, I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
The oh crap! No, I'm saying the wrong name. It's the Shadow people. The guys.
Okay. No.
Yes, those ones.
Feels comes from the shadow.
It's Yankee?
No, not the Geth Yankee.
No, Shadow.
That would be a totally different realm.
This is going to be totally
that's
awesome.
terrifying.
That is very exciting.
But like I said, it can only be done during the conjunction, so
And that's going to be next year.
it'll be just short of another year.
I definitely want to be around to make sure nobody else does that.
Oh, yeah, is thou just going to make a pilgrimage every year to this bridge to make sure no one is trying to activate it?
It's a good goal. It's a good goal for a Dragonborn.
So while they're off doing their own little thing, I'm going to lean more into Zyrus and go, this would be the place to keep our eyes peeled. See
Oh, yeah, it's the rock.
Exactly.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we left the rock behind, guys.
We're still there. I'm keeping with the caravan. I didn't walk to the bridge with you guys.
So it's just me and Daichi at the bridge. Okay.
Oh, still got Wildy.
I'm there, so
Yeah. Before Daichi left.
I got nosy, so
Yeah.
Yes. Farnackle, there's always going to be 2 people at the wagon. Farnak's not too interested in the bridge if we're not crossing that.
Daichi, before he would have left, would have checked the rock to see if it was frozen.
Nope.
Good. Not good. Indifferent.
So heading into town with the caravan, I guess. Keeping my eye peeled for argon or any symbol. So he was a merchant, so he might be, I don't know, picking some stuff up or dropping stuff off with our caravan. But I'm keeping an eye out for the owlbear cloaks.
Okay. And so, like, Jura sort of lets you know that there's a couple of different places in town to stay. They're planning on, like, people are gonna, like, rent at, various inns and things like that and stay here overnight and enjoy the town a little bit, as people like to take a bit of a break. And he recommends a place where he is personally staying, which is called the Seven Steeds Coach House.
Sounds fancy.
He says this place is it's well known for its spiced lamb stew.
Spicy lamb.
Yeah.
Is it affordable?
It's middle of the road. Good for, those of us with some coin but don't want to spend lavishly.
I'll turn to Oiwei and then just go, Oiwei? Oiwei? Dachi?
Why am I alone?
You can just hear all of the fangirling in the background from so far away.
You guys are 10 minutes behind us, so it's quite a bit to catch up on. Zyrus, did you get nosy there, or did you come along with the caravan?
I'll be glad to come along with a caravan and everything like that.
Okay.
Because I'm hungry.
And stew and see if we notice anybody familiar.
And Jura says, and the coach house, it can hold our wagons in their yards.
Yes, I believe so.
Once Soyoi got the information she needed, she was just going to sketch it quickly or sketch it throughout the day and go back to the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have taken you some time to get up and around. It's, it's not like a, short little jaunt. So
yeah, and the rituals take 10
jaunt.
And then 10 minutes. It's probably going to take you at least 30 minutes to catch back up to the group.
So it's not the Confederation Bridge.
Is there town that we're walking through to get to the bridge?
I think it was a side road.
You had to detour off the road before the town. The town is literally underneath the bridge.
Ah, okay, it's underneath the bridge.
Yeah, it was a side road before that. Sorry, Farnak.
They're all living under the overpass.
Okay.
So heading in, keeping my eye open. Would you want me to roll perception or anything just to see if I notice the owl bears walking around?
Yes. Give me a wisdom check.
If I know what I'm looking for, do I gain any benefit to this? Since I'm looking for something very specific.
Nope. Same as anything else.
Regular wisdom as 12 plus 3, so 15.
Okay. You look around. You don't see any owlbear cloaks.
Okay. Well, head into the Seven Steeds. Figure that. So everyone's splitting off. I'm not even going to leave a sign for the stragglers. I'm just going to walk in.
Oh no! They can take care of themselves.
Literally, you can tell she's getting closer because she's like excited, dragon babble and draconic about it.
And Jura just kind of shrugs his own shoulders. What you do with your group's up to you. And he's heading to the Seven Steeds, taking his wagon. And lots of the caravan, some of the merchants are stopping kind of in the town square and conducting business. Others are going to sort of stockyards and various other things. And that is where we're going to end for episode 1.
All right, we get to roll attack rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Got one.
All right.
2 attack rolls.
Done did it, Cass.
And the hateful 8.
The Hateful 8. All right. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back for episode 2 in 2 weeks' time, same time. And hopefully we'll be working on getting this up on YouTube and split up into a couple episodes in podcast form as well. But in the meantime, please follow us on @VariantRolls, or follow any of us individually. Those of us who have Twitter anyway.
We'll get one by the time that...
Yeah.
We got 2 weeks. I hope that I can manage technology enough.
And there is stuff up on the website. So we have a website which is sort of in rapid flux stage, but www.variantrolls.com. And at least right now, you can actually get, although it needs to be updated, there's a couple changes to it, a PDF version of a map, which you can feel free to download. There's also our Session 0 unedited, uncut, and raw episode in audio form as well, which you can also, I believe, download and stream. And we're going to put up a cut version of it and replace it. And all right. That's it. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all.